Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show, bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Recording live in studio, here's Nick and Matt.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are here Monday night at the Nick and Matt Show for episode 130. This episode is also presented by Cosmic DG. Go check out everything Cosmic over at CosmicDG.com.
Nick, I talked to Dave at the Northeast Disc Golf Expo, and he said, do TDs want to get paid to TD? He says, have them hit him up. He's going to get them paid to run a tournament. So there you go.
And that's what I think anyone putting in the work to run a disc golf event should be getting some sort of compensation for it. So I think that's a great medal to have. If you are a TD, go check out CosmicDG.com. Shoot Dave an email. He'll definitely help you out and all that.
Episode 130, Nick. So right before the show, I'm getting ready, coming in the studio, and I walk by a laundry room, and I hear rain. And I'm like, do we have like a new sound machine? And I open the door, and like water is just pouring from the ceiling into the laundry room. Now, it's partially like a pantry too, so there's boxed, dry goods, canned goods. My 7-year-old is in the shower above with the curtain on the outside of the tub. Yep, the good old trick like that. So we're like, stop, it's pouring. Yeah. So that was right before the show. So there you go.
Nice. I had to deal with that. Oh, that's, wonderful. Just sounds like a Monday for almost everyone out in the world right now.
Hey, let's go to 3-up. Intern Ben.
I'm here.
Yeah, see, he responds to intern Ben, but the last 2 days, he was manager Ben. He was promoter Ben. He ran the Northeast Disc Golf Expo. Ben, give us the short version. What happened and was it a success?
Basically, I ran the first Disc Golf Expo, convention, trade show, whatever you want to call it, ever. And it was a major success. There was a line out the door of like 150, 200 people on opening day on Saturday. I wasn't expecting it. I don't think anyone was expecting it. And everyone was very happy. And if you actually showed up, you got to experience the Nick and Matt show. Like where I'm sitting now is where you were sitting at the expo. So you got to experience what it was like to be me. And you got to talk to Matt.
You're right, actually. The green screen, those who walk by, that's what intern Ben has. So, Nick, we gave him the experience. I know you were doing a charity event. Is that correct?
No, so I was doing, we have down here in Virginia called the Virginia Team Invitational. It's a VTI. It's a big match play tournament. Bunch of different teams from, the surrounding states are all entered into this tournament. And so I was a part of Team Blue Ridge, which is the locals around here. We made it into the semifinals. Unfortunately, got knocked out when we were in the semifinals. But it's really cool because it's 9-hole match play on a beautiful property, the Lake Marshall property. So shout out to Gary, Trey, and Corey who just do an incredible work out there. And 9-hole match play. It's really, really fun. And each player in your team gets seeded, pretty much by, for the most part, skill level.
Wow.
And for my team, I was playing as the 1 seed. I ended up going 4-2 on the weekend. So I lost 2 matches. I won 4 of them. Which was pretty cool because when you're playing all the 1 seeds, it's a really fun competition the whole time. Majority of my matches went the full 9 holes, which just made it even extra fun. And it was super cold and it was super windy both of the days. It heated up towards the end of the day, but for the most part, it was not ideal conditions to play. And I'm really looking forward to 75 degrees, 80 degrees, and just sunshine with no wind.
Aren't we all? So as people walked by at the Northeast Disc Golf Expo, someone would be like, are you Nick or Matt? Some of them. I mean, we had, So how many did we have to go through? Like well over 1,000.
Yeah. I'd say final numbers are like 1,200 to 1,300. I think.
Good first year numbers. And so we had that many people walk by us, Nick. And I think that was only asked that twice maybe, but that's good. We exposed them. Said, do you like sports talk about disc golf, 2 hours of content a week? They loved it. So, well,
I saw one of the people was former world champion. Dave
Feldberg was in the room.
Yeah.
Which on Sunday. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, he was sitting down in our virtual studio there and loving life. So that was cool. Shout out, Dave.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, no, I'm Matt. And they're like, who's Nick? And I was like, you remember last year at Waco? I was like,
oh God,
lead card, man. They're like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, this guy he's our athlete on the show. That's why he's there. So yeah.
Just a one and done.
No. But it was a good time. We'll kind of move on past that, but really stoked. It was hanging. It was almost like, this is a weird way to say it, like summer camp for disc golfers. It was winter. Maybe awesome. Snow camp for disc golfers. Like we're all just hanging out in a room with everything under the sun. People are putting. Next year, putting leagues, dude. Like run putting leagues in other rooms, and like people, the sky's the limit.
We're gonna go bigger and better next year. No one really knew what to expect this year, but now that we got a lot of people, a lot of interest, a lot of people buying, all our vendors were very happy. So I can go bigger with confidence that people are gonna show up.
Overthrow was there.
Yep.
Nick, you know Josh. He's probably in the chat now. Josh from Overthrow.
No, I know Josh and Mikey. Very well.
So they were there. Josh was doing form reviews. And out of those 1,200 plus people who were there, I think probably
103 is the exact number. He did.
How many?
103 form reviews, 19 hours straight.
There you go. It was literally insane.
Yeah.
Like the line was so long, and he was giving everybody their time. Like he was standing there going through with everybody their throws. I'm blown away. It was incredible. And Robbie C was there.
Yep.
Trash Panda, Jesse, the recycled disc. It was just a really great time. So I wanted to give you the credit, Ben, for that. And we won't be promoting it for a long time again, but it will come up again.
Well, I was going to say, when do we expect the next one? Now give me a little heads up, and I can make sure I'm there this time.
Yeah, probably. As of right now, it's going to be in the same building, but I'm just going to rent the whole hotel.
The whole dude. Okay, one last thought. That got me really excited, and I don't know how much it would cost because it's not my money; it's yours.
Yes.
You know that atrium area with like the water fountains and the mini disc golf, dude. Like little mini baskets throughout that whole area.
I couldn't. That's what I mean.
People
by
would be paying
hotel,
to play that, dude. So people would be paying to play. It was a nasty. It's like all architecture, Nick. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like you're almost like you're outside, but you're inside this massive atrium of the hotel. So, anyways, that was something I thought.
So I'll rent it all, and I'll get at least 40 more vendors, hopefully, coming on.
Dang. So okay, where's Evan? Dang, he's not even in the green room.
Yeah, no, Evan bailed on us, about 30, 45 minutes before the show.
The expo was too much for him.
It's true.
I think it must have been.
He partied too hard.
Yep. He got recognized too many times, couldn't take the pressure of it, and is down for the count today, wasn't feeling great. So he did hit us up with a couple stats. So when we run through the tournaments, we are going to try to act like Stat Mando, but we'll see how we do.
We're actually not going to try. That would be just a fail. Yeah. But let's just do it. In about 10 minutes, well, Paige just texted me. She said she'll be in 20 minutes, so that's perfect. So Paige in 20 minutes. Discgolf.law, Chris Clark, we're bringing him back in. Ultiworld dropped an article this week that explicitly said the lawsuit has been withdrawn, removed from Gannon Burr by Prodigy. Our guy Chris Clark goes, I don't know if you're aware, but that's not accurate. And I was like, wow, I was on a plane flying. I couldn't text it out to the world or you, but Chris knows this stuff. And then eventually Ultiworld figured it out and changed their title and said, no, it was just a quote restraining order of sorts or the injunction. But Chris is coming on in approximately 10 minutes. Well, actually, he just jumps in our green room. We'll bring him in very soon here after we do our event recap. But he's going to give us the update on that and any other legal news out there. So, Nick, give us the version, whatever you want, for the recap at Austin. How did people play? How did it finish out? I guess spoiler alerts is a thing, but Nick, go ahead.
Spoiler alert, Gannon Burr coming from the chase card and taking down the win, shooting an incredible round. The final round, it was 1070 rated or so. Coming back from the chase card, just played incredible. Had kind of a mishap on hole 16 where he threw it in out of bounds on a hole that some of these players are actually looking to eagle it. It's a par 4, I think about 600 some feet downhill. Ends up taking the par on it, but then goes to one of the hardest holes on the course, hole 17, and ends up cashing in about a 25-foot putt for birdie. And then 18 just kind of sealing the deal where realistically he probably could have just played it for par, but wanted to make a statement and wanted to guarantee the win. Ended up going for the birdie. Made the putt from probably same distance, just a little bit uphill on that one. So Gannon Burr with an incredible come from behind victory. Chase card, back-to-back weekends of chase card action where the chase card, the leader on it is the one winning the tournament, which I think we had said was the first time in Silver Series, Elite Series, or major history that we've had back-to-back events like that happen with a chase card winner. So kudos to Gannon Burr. That's absolutely incredible, especially with everything going on. Gannon is one of 4 players now who have a Silver Series event that he's won, a major, and now an Elite Series event. The other 3 players being Ricky Wysocki, Paul Macbeth, and Chris Dickerson, which I think Chris actually probably did the same thing last year. I'm not sure if he won an Elite Series, but I know he won some Silver Series and a major. But anyways, he has done it in the past. Simon Lizotte was also making a huge charge, and I think he was actually on the 3rd card. but made it a great battle. Ended up losing by 2 strokes. James Proctor, Calvin Heimberg, and Austin Turner kind of rounding out the top 5. The camera was on Austin Turner that round a lot. He was playing an incredible round. Just didn't have enough holes to play, but nonetheless did play an absolutely incredible round. And then switching over really quick onto the FPO side, we finally see Paige Pierce back in solid form, shooting 2 rounds over 1,000 rated, and then 1 round, the final round, 970. But I think she had enough of a cushion over Katrina Allen to where she could kind of play it how she wanted to towards the end of things. Katrina Allen, Jessica Weiss, Missy Gannon, Holland Hanley rounding out the top 5, and then Kristen Tatar actually tying for the 5th place spot, which biggest thing about that is this is the end of the Kristen Tatar podium streak. Evan had sent us the actual length of it. It was the 5th longest ever in the FPO division, Elite Series only. Des Redding with 32, Tatar had 18, Allen, Corver, and Jenkins were all in between that. This is Paige's 73rd Elite / major win. And I think Evan was saying in this that it was the longest period since Paige has won an Elite Series event. So however many days, I think it was European Open up until now.
This is her longest. This is, as I'm reading it. Thank you, Evan. Longest stretch without a win. It sounds like ever in her elite or pro career. That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah. So I'd say that's really the main breakdown of the event. So shout out to Paige Pierce and Gannon Burr. A lot of great play out there. I know we're going to have Paige on in just a little bit doing the interview and talking about the course, talking about the event in and of itself. I know a lot of players were outspoken with dislikes of the course. I actually think Gannon had a great post-round interview after his win saying, look, whether you like the course or not, he tried to have a good mentality going into it, which I think just proves how mature he is of becoming a player, because having that kind of like, let's say, happiness going on throughout the round of just being like, you know what, I'm here, I'm ready to play. It doesn't matter. Everyone else is playing the same exact thing. We're playing in the same weather conditions at this time right now. So for him to be able to do that, I think shows a lot of maturity, which is awesome. But like I said, a lot of players were definitely outspoken about dislikes on the course, whether it was the whole course in general or a few holes here and there. Fortunately, I was able to watch a decent amount of the coverage. Wasn't able to watch all of it. But some of the holes looked great. Some of the holes I think looked a little, I don't know, put together, I would say. It's not a course that would definitely suit my game at all. I know there was a couple, 460, 480-foot par 3s with, bunkers surrounding them to where I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to throw it 350, 400, getting myself in a good spot and try to walk up and down with the 3. But that's just my own personal take. I've never played the course, and so who knows? Maybe I would actually absolutely love it if I went there.
And post-round interviews, Paul Macbeth as transparent as ever, and that's not something that's new for him. He's earned that right. But just, saying flat out horrible design. That I'm not quoting him directly, but bad hole design, especially 17 and 18 he called out. But just in general, we saw some incredible highlights also of him playing those holes. I tried to catch a feeling, Nick, from other players, what they were saying. Some would say that, it's not as bad of a rap as it's getting. It's okay. And then you heard, like you said, Gannon talking about it. I think we'll do this later, but Evan and I were actually chatting at the Expo and about new course venues. Okay, so the event is not a new event per se. The TD's running it. There's all the trust in the world that they can handle this, but a new course venue, and our opinions on how that could or should take place. And we can talk about that later, get your opinion on that as well. And obviously when we have Paige on in about 15 minutes, we're going to talk about all the things that we've asked. You can submit questions still in the live show, but we're also going to get to questions that you posted on our social media earlier, and some others that we came up with. Sometimes we do that. And then Gannon, everyone wants us to ask Gannon, is he with Prodigy for the year? When is he signing with, and this is a direct quote from comments, when is he signing with Discmania? Are they going to make him a Tour Series disc? These are all the questions that people are asking us in the comments of our social post. And shout out, is this Daniel from Texas in the chat?
Yes.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been, he was in the last one, but before
he
that,
was in
it was
the
a
last
long
couple
time.
episodes.
I guess I was away remote and I wasn't seeing the
that's
chat.
why. Yeah, correct.
Well, sorry. There you go, Daniel. We missed you. And then intern Ben's mom, everybody was in the chat. Incredible. Go look for the last name, Kenny. and say hi to intern Ben's mom.
Hi, Mom.
I mean, Matt, one of the other biggest things that happened at this event was kind of a freak accident, a cameraman getting hit by an Eagle McMahon grenade, and the chances of that happening, I think, are just so crazy for it to kind of hit exactly and land where it did. First off, I want to say before we kind of get into this conversation more, Dave from Gatekeeper, he also runs Heiser Media. I've actually had the privilege of meeting him before. He was able to film a charity event that I did do earlier this year. Really awesome guy. He actually threw a couple shots for us and our team, the way that the format was set up. But anyways, we hope you're feeling great. I know that was such an awful incident for it to happen. I know update, I think the last thing that I heard was he is doing well. Lots of staples in the head, which sucks. But man, that happening, we were kind of, one of my buddies had it on while we were driving to a restaurant, and we heard the sound hit, and he said, holy F, look at what just happened. And then we ended up finding the video on Twitter, and it pretty insane. I really don't think there's too much more to really.
Have you ever been hit by a disc, Nick? Have you ever been hit by a disc?
Yeah, I've been hit in the ankle before. Pretty good.
I've been hit in the shoulder. I've been hit 3 times. I've been hit in the ankle, the shoulder, and one that, was really close to my head. I had to put my arms up and hit me in the elbow area. Mm-hmm. Disc coming in hurt extremely bad. I'm a safety professional by career, and we look at that and go, oh, that is not a good time for. And honestly, I'm not digging into how's the Pro Tour handling this or PDGA, but there's liabilities out there. That's why there's insurance. I think we can talk more about this a little later, just the ideas of it. I mean, I've already seen things like these insert bump helmets going inside of what almost looks like a baseball hat or your typical, brimmed hat. You can actually put something in there to help protect you. But I don't know where it's going to go and how the Pro Tour plans to handle it. But I would imagine that it's much more aware now. Our camera guys are going to move out of these zones. But the course kind of sets up for that. And that scenario was there wasn't much. It was really rough. He had to be kind of close to the basket. And then the players to get in there, they're going over the top. Now, often players are going to shout out. If you've been on tour any amount of times, players will say, hey, I'm coming over the top. Let the camera guy know. That's both so they can film it and be aware, but it's also obviously a safety thing as well. So I don't know what their move's going to be, but that is something that will, I'm sure, get talked about internally amongst the Pro Tour. But we can talk about ideas for that later. At this point in the show, we have a lot more to talk about. We're going to bring in Chris Clark, everybody of discgolf.law, and we're doing that because he's got an update for us. We kind of mentioned it. Ultiworld talked about what's happening. They adjusted it. We want to know from him, what does that mean? And then any other updates on the legal scene, horizon, maybe things involving the Natalie Ryan case, if there's anything there or not. But let's go ahead and bring in everybody. Chris Clark, discgolf.law. How's it going, Chris?
Going good, guys. How are you?
Doing great. We brought in the professionals. We brought in the professional, and we're just looking for an update from you on the legal front. What do you know about the Gannon Burr situation? Anything new there? And then if there's anything else going on, let us know.
Yeah, sure. So with respect to the Gannon thing, I think I learned the news that their motion for a preliminary injunction and a temporary restraining order, they have dismissed that without prejudice, which means they can file it again if they choose. I don't think this is too much of a surprise if you think about it, because that motion that they filed for a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction was, as it said in their court documents, it was specifically for the purpose of maintaining the status quo. And so in this case, what does maintaining the status quo mean? Well, it means Gannon doesn't sign with any other sponsors, and Gannon keeps throwing and wearing Prodigy. And as we've all seen for the past few weeks, that's exactly what he's been doing. And so I think it was just a matter of realization by someone that, hey, exactly what we're asking for in this court filing is happening, and therefore it's not necessary anymore, so we'll dismiss it.
Okay. So that's your reasoning, your thoughts why. I like to get a little bit more deep myself. Here's my idea. Tell me how crazy it is. That purpose of that restraining order, was to prevent any immediate action by him to sign with somebody else, is what it seems apparent that was the case. Could it be? could I go out on a limb here and say that they're like, okay, fine, we've made these internal discussions and we just want a buyout. Like we all want to win here. We all want some type of win. We want a buyout. And so we're going to let you talk and go sign with somebody else so that they can get the money. You know, we're going to remove that restraining order. Is that even a possibility, or would that usually all be decided in one lump agreement? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I think you're on the right track. As I think I may have said before, I mean, this is, at the end of the day, it's ultimately a purely financial dispute.
Right.
And I think also, as we mentioned before, the timing of when they filed this lawsuit, right? You guys may remember, either from me saying it or from you just reading through the court documents, that the timing of when they filed it, it was right before All-Star Weekend, where it says in their court documents they were expecting Gannon to announce a new sponsor at the press conference for All-Star Weekend. And the reason I'm kind of smiling at that is that was also the same paragraph where they told the court that the All-Star Weekend press conference was going to be streamed to millions of viewers.
Right.
And so that was going to just irreparably harm Prodigy, which if he had announced a new sponsor, yeah, I agree that would have been, a significant setback or significant harm for Prodigy. So I think their hand was forced and they felt like they had to file what they filed when they did. And I still think this is a good sign of progress toward what I think we all hope and expect is going to happen fairly soon, which is some type of a financial settlement. And I'll say one other thing, just as an aside. I don't know if it's related or not, but, it was only a few days after this motion was dismissed that, Gannon wins the Open at Austin. So it seems like for Gannon, things are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, he came out and I think in the press conference said something along the lines of like, I had something like I needed to prove, like I needed to bad starts. And then that happened. Obviously it was lifted and he had a great performance. My one last thought on this contract deal, because we've had you on a few times and I'm sure people appreciate everything you say, but just thinking through, had he announced I am going to XYZ company and then this lawsuit was made, this other manufacturer or sponsor then is, whoa, did we make a deal that couldn't actually be made, right? Like that would be almost in hindsight. So do you think, and this is coming from your expert opinion, and this is what you guys specialize in at discgolf.law, agreements, contracts, is it going to be at a place where sponsors in the future are going to say, hey, wherever you're coming from, we need to see some formal, end of sponsorship with that other place? Like maybe they're already doing that and I'm not aware, but like you would think it's going to have to be something like that.
It would have been pretty naive for any sponsor to have signed Gannon knowing that, he's halfway through a 2-year deal with Prodigy and not expecting Prodigy to try to do something about that. Now, whether Prodigy would have had some type of claim or cause of action against the new sponsor, or whether their claim would have solely been against Gannon, I think that's open for discussion and debate. But they certainly would have had a claim against Gannon, and I think it would not have been unreasonable to expect a new sponsor to compensate Prodigy for part or all of whatever they sought to recover from Gannon. But I'm really curious to stay tuned for your show tonight and hear, what some of the answers to these questions are, because I think whether you get direct answers and whether you get all the answers to the questions that you ask, I think we're going to learn a lot tonight from your discussion.
Yeah, we're going to serve it up and we'll just let him answer. And we push and dig just a little bit, but like we want to maintain relationships with these pros too. It's a delicate balancing act where we want them to come back on again, but we also got to do our job. So, and then finally, the Natalie Ryan lawsuit situation. I know things are still going on. And I don't want to say speculation, but conversations I've had, and everything's really secretive, of course. I mean, it's a lawsuit, but the Pro Tour is getting the best attorney that they possibly can, or they have them lined up already. And so we're just waiting to find out more there. Are there any updates on that front at all?
Well, I think right about the time you guys had me on to discuss Natalie's case, either right about that time or maybe a day or two later, there was a case that was decided in Minnesota, and it had to do with USA Powerlifting, and a lot of the facts relative to that case are similar to the facts in Natalie's case. USA Powerlifting adopted a policy relative to transgender women competing in a female protected division. And the policy essentially or effectively banned transgender women from competing in that division. A transgender woman filed suit. She won. And the USA Powerlifting has been ordered to revise their policy so that it allows transgender women to compete in the female protected division there. So again, this was in Minnesota. The research that I did, and I meant to double check this before I came on and I forgot, but it looks like that was in Minnesota State Court. The way that our courts work in the United States is typically we follow precedent. But technically, this case in Minnesota wouldn't have any binding precedent on what's going on in California. On the other hand, I said and will say again, our team did some research trying to find a similar situation to Natalie's so that we could see, hey, has something like this ever played out before? And what we were looking for was a professional sports organization and their treatment through their policies of transgender women. And we just weren't able to find any cases relative to that particular set of facts. Now we have one case that is similar to Natalie's set of facts. And I expect that it will come up in the course of Natalie's case. Now, whether the court's obligated to follow it or not, they're not. But I do think it's informative and interesting to see that now there are other cases out there that are following similar facts.
Yeah, great.
So,
great. Thank you for that.
Realistically, just
Nick, you're still here.
Yeah, just really quick. Realistically, I was going to kind of bring up something else, but I think this is a great topic because we're talking about Minnesota, where later on this year we have the Elite Series event over at the Preserve Championships presented by Airborne and Prodigy. Is this something where potentially in the state of California, if things don't go in the way that Natalie Ryan is hoping, could she potentially file suit? And now, say in Minnesota, where there already has been a case of what's going on, and potentially the state of Minnesota would say you cannot do this?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because I'm on record as saying, one thing strategically that the Disc Golf Pro Tour could do is either cancel or move the OTB Open, and that would render the case that Natalie filed moot. And I got some comments back, which are 100% valid, saying, hey, there are other states out there that have laws similar to this Civil Rights Act in California. I still believe California is the friendliest jurisdiction for Natalie to file this case. Mm-hmm. But I have been educated on the fact that California isn't the only state that has a Civil Rights Act that offers protection to an individual based on gender identity. So, the short answer to your question is theoretically, yes. The point that I was trying to make is if the Disc Golf Pro Tour moves or cancels the OTB Open, and that means it's maybe a little bit of a question, but Disc Golf Pro Tour is not, at least through the OTB Open, doing business in California. Thousand Rated Productions is not hosting the one event a year that they host, and so they're not. Mm-hmm. Natalie asked to be allowed to play in the female protected division. That request goes away. They asked that the Disc Golf Pro Tour be prohibited from conducting business in California. If the OTB Open is canceled, that goes away. So I wasn't saying that the entire issue goes away. Obviously it doesn't. I think we're going to be dealing with this for a while because it's very complicated.
Mhm.
So could theoretically another action be brought in Minnesota similar to the one that was brought in California? And in Minnesota now, we do have at least one example of a court ruling in favor of a transgender athlete. I think it's a, you know, it's a really interesting question. And so I guess we'll just have to stay tuned and see.
No, definitely.
All right, Chris, we appreciate so much this legal insight that you provide to our show. As always, everyone go check out discgolf.law on YouTube. I think it's Instagram as well and Facebook. So it's all the platforms and the website, discgolf.law.
TikTok even.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We're not even on TikTok. So
No, we're not.
We're on Twitter though. Okay, cool.
Ben can handle that.
Old school. All right, Chris, we appreciate your insight. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, gentlemen. Good night.
Take
All
it
right,
easy, Chris.
bye. All right, Nick, tell us about one of our sponsors tonight, Disc Golf Swag. What's going down with them?
Yeah, so one of the newest sponsors kind of hooking us up with some awesome stuff is Disc Golf Swag. First and foremost, you can check them out at discgolfswag.com. I actually have one of the discs that he sent me. So Disc Golf Swag is not necessarily, it's not a dying company, but they're the only company producing full color PDGA legal custom discs from all manufacturers' premium products. Now, I'm going to show you what I have right now. This disc, although it looks dyed, is actually not. And I'm going to give
It's
you kind of the
printed
rundown.
for our listening audience. It is printed somehow, some way, proprietary, as they all say, but into the disc. So it's not rubbing off, scraping off. It's in your disc. They sent me one as well. It's actually incredible. Definitely go check out discgolfswag.com. They offer more than discs. They offer apparel. In fact, I may be wearing it right now. Go check out the Mando shirt. So Nick, what else is there? Anything else? We miss anything? It's a really cool, really cool company.
Kind of like how you just said it. Plastics retain the same exact feel from when they were molded by the manufacturer. You're not going to get all the scratches. It's not going to destroy what's on the disc, like some other dyes do. And then one of the biggest things, it maintains the feel of the disc like it comes out of the factory. So some companies, some dye discs that I've experienced with in the past get a little bit slippery. Some of them smell pretty cool. But anyways, with this company,
That's
Disc
my
Golf
favorite
Swag,
part. That's my favorite
Disc
part.
Golf
They
Swag.
smell cool.
Dude, pastry dyes, they smell
Nick.
great. Anyways, Disc Golf Swag has some awesome stuff out there. They're actually personally doing one of my discs, and they're doing an anime theme on it.
Okay.
Because I like some cool anime.
So Nick,
and I'll show you guys that soon.
at the Northeast Disc Golf Expo, because of Disc Golf Swag, they had sent me a disc that they stole my art. No, they took my art and put it on a disc and sent it to me. And I was like, wow, that's cool. They inspired me to take the rest of my mushroom baskets. Now, some of you have seen this over the years. I've posted a few. They inspired me to take my mushroom basket artwork, and I sold it at the expo, and people just bought it like crazy. And I was so happy. I couldn't believe it. I might make an online store. We'll see. But thank you, Disc Golf Swag. All right. Without further ado, in the green room, sorry to make her wait, but everybody, Paige Pierce, the current and reigning Waco champion.
Not Waco.
No,
Open at Austin.
We're not going there yet. Waco, not Waco. The
Not
Open
Waco.
at Austin. And welcome to the show, Paige.
Thank you very much.
Sorry I got
Man,
that
I wish
wrong.
I would have won Waco.
Yeah.
I wish I would have won Waco, but not even close.
Did you hear that stat? I don't expect that you were listening to our show earlier on, but this was the longest you've gone without a win, meaning like within this is the longest stretch you've gone without a win.
Yeah, Nate mentioned that on the post-round interview. It's funny because it was like during the off season, like I haven't played a tournament in 4 months, so it's like okay. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I hadn't won since European Open, so yeah, it feels good to be back in the winner's circle for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So it just feels good. It's not a big deal to you. Like you said, off season. Now so again, congratulations on the win. Before we move past that, tell us, I mean, you said it feels good to be in the winner's circle. I texted you this and I meant it. And whether you think it's accurate or not, I said, I saw fierce in your eyes in the final round. I was like, and I'm at the expo and we're watching it live at like a side booth. And I'm like, oh, dang. Like Paige is like focused. And I was like, it's hers to win. So did something feel different in this round or this tournament that like led you to the victory?
You know, I did see your text. But I felt like it was like the fierce Paige wasn't really there
Okay.
until that final round. I
Yep.
felt like, you know, I was just enjoying myself and having a good time. And, you know, the final round, maybe about like midway through, I would say is kind of when I started feeling fierce. I hit a big putt on maybe like hole 7 or 8. And when it went in, like I knew it right out of my hand. You know, we all know that feeling,
Yeah.
like when you make a good shot and you know it instantly. And it was a long putt, and you know, from right when I let it go, I knew it was in, and I made myself fist pump for the first time all tournament, and
Yes.
for the first time in a while, really. So like that was a good feeling, and it was just like, oh yeah, I'm pumped up and feeling a little fierce. So yeah, I feel like yeah, it was just overall good event for me to like work through some, you know, I felt like I had moments of doubt or like self-confidence stuff, and to overcome that and to come out on top, it felt good for sure.
That fist pump you're talking about, that was the moment that I was reflecting on. I was like, oh baby. Like I didn't feel like I've seen that in a while myself. So it's fantastic to see. Someone asked the other day about DGN coverage, doing the first round live on YouTube for free. And then they're like, you know, later on you get to pay for it if you want to watch the final. And then someone said like, hey, but maybe we should just like keep FPO like free. And my take was like, are you kidding me? The FPO is more exciting than it's ever been. People need to pay for that action.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like, all I'm going to say is you won. And then we had a different winner, and then we had a different winner. It's 3 different winners right out of the gate. You've always talked, Paige, about like the excitement of getting the FPO division built up. You're here and you're still winning. Is this more every year? I ask you, is this closer to what you were imagining? Are we there yet?
I mean, I would say so. You know, there's like 60-ish women at each event, you know, as much as they will open spots up for, we're filling. And you know, the level of play is raised tremendously. I feel like it's like around 9:30 golf to win it, to cash out an event you have to average like 9:30, where before 9:30 would probably get you definitely top 10, sometimes even top 5 maybe. So depending on what year we're referring to. So yeah, the level of play is tremendously increased. So I feel like you know, we could talk about Kristen all day. We could talk about Missy. She's been here winning tournaments, but I mean, I just want to like pull Holland, for example. Like Holland was on the final feature card, the final round. And for any viewers or listeners that are watched that final round, like looking at Holland's sidearm, like she threw, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they do a good job telling you guys it's like, this is a 410-foot hole. This is a 390-foot hole. And she's throwing a hyzer, a pure hyzer sidearm and getting there. And, you know, that right there is just like a spot on example of how the field is rising. And Kristen, Missy, Holland, and I are all discussing that during the final round. Like, wow, just a little chip sidearm, huh, Holland? So yeah, it's more and more players have it. And you know, other shots as well. You know, Jess is throwing sidearm rollers quite often. You know, Holcomb's developing a backhand. So it's like, yeah, everyone's sharpening their tools and adding more.
Before I pass it to Nick, I just wanted to comment on that because I was doing intern Ben's Northeast Disc Golf Expo, and we were on a content creators panel with a few other YouTube content creators. And at some point in there, we were talking and we whispered to each other. We said, they need to have the average, like in all seriousness, me go and throw that same shot and then have like they need to show, here's like your average person.
Totally.
Like, cause like people know I don't throw far, but like I feel like I'm a okay disc golfer, but she would put me to shame with her throw and people would be like, wow, like
totally.
The average, I always say that for the Olympics too, like have the average person go out there. So it just makes it that much more amazing. So
yeah, I think it would be super helpful. Actually, one other thing before Nick too.
Yeah.
Actually, Katrina came up to me after the round and, you know, we were just chatting about, you know, play and stuff. And she's like, man, is it just me or is everyone just dropping them in from circle 2 this year? And I was like, no, for real. Like, and so that's another thing about FPO is like, it's no longer like you have to be good inside the circle. you have to be good inside circle too. And that is really cool because that is where the guys are at too. And so to see the gap slightly, evening is really exciting for me as a huge proponent of like FPO is something that you need to watch because, we are having those battles and we are having those shots that are equally as impressive as the men's field.
Great points. Great points on the putting. That was always a thing we talked about. Nick, what do you got?
Yeah. No, definitely. I kind of cut out at the beginning of the interview. Anyways, I just want to say congratulations on the win. Every so
you.
often, my internet just randomly gets wonky on me. So I don't know. Maybe you answered this, but anyways, brand new venue, brand new tournament, the Open at Austin this year. It was on a course that we had never seen in years past. Kind of talk to us about that. Does it fit your game style? Do you feel like this is a course that you would like to see for the next 3 to 5 years? Just kind of talk to us about the course.
Yeah. I know there was mixed reviews. I think for starters, like I was surprised that we were playing it because we had never heard of it. And, it's a temp course. There's a bunch of good courses in Austin. And it's just like, hey, here's this course that no one's ever seen before. And it's never had an A tier, which I thought that was like some sort of qualification is like, it has to be an A tour. Yeah. I thought that was, but anyway, I was happy with it. I thought it was amazing to have an event in Austin because that is the city to be in Texas. And, especially with that many people in town, for other things, there was an NCAA women's softball tournament that was huge and, also South by Southwest. And so there was just a bunch of people in Austin. The galleries were insane, like huge. So I thought it was good for that. And also just like, with the elevation, you could just kind of perch up on a hill and just like watch a few different holes. I thought that the spectator viewing was awesome. And then like, as for play, I thought it was good. I thought there was a nice variety of like uphill, downhill, flat shots, like 300-foot flat shots. There was like, dog legs, 700-foot dog leg shots. There was all kinds of variety. So I felt like, it was cool for that. You didn't have to just grab the same disc on every hole. Like you really got to throw mids, drivers, putters, fairways, everything. And that's what I'm looking for when I'm like trying to be excited about a course, I would say. But I know there was a lot of hate about it. I think the biggest thing that I would say if we do want to have it there again is maybe finding another way to enter the park. There was like really congestion, like very, very thick congestion going in and out of the course. It was like barely wide enough for one car. So when people were trying to get in and get out at the same time, it was a little difficult, but luckily I was sleeping at the course. So I didn't have to deal with that before my round. It was just getting out of there.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of kind of the log jam. It almost reminds you of when you're leaving a concert. Everyone's leaving at the same exact time. And
totally. Which
it takes forever for the one flagger to get you out.
Yeah. Which, in a way, like it's all about perspective, right? Like in a way that was cool. It's like, dang, this many people are like rushing to get in this course right now. Yeah. And like, I don't know, it's kind of cool. But it was nice. Like it was night and day better than Waco as far as warm up facilities. So like, and honestly, it's, I would say, stands out as like one of the top 3 places on tour that we've had for warm-ups. We actually had 2 different huge fields where we could have warmed up and like multiple different putting greens. And I think there was some really good things about it, but also some things that maybe need some adjustment if we're going to play there moving forward.
Yeah.
With being a first year course, there's obviously a lot of things. Some of the holes maybe be able to change up, ways people are getting in and out of the park. There's definitely room for improvement. I think almost at every single venue. You're talking about Waco, which we've seen for a number of years now, still doesn't have that wonderful kind of warm-up field, warm-up area for the players. Maybe that's something that changes in the 2024 season. But for the Open at Austin to keep on going and survive as an Elite Series event, as the course in and of itself, the FPO style was different, the FPO course was different than the MPO course. Did you like the changes that were made for specifically that?
Like you're saying when we would have a FPO pad versus or basket.
Yep.
I thought it was good. I thought, it's cool. You see it at OTB Open and there's one other event that's Preserve, I think, but also with this one, the Open at Austin, we saw like the FPO actually play a longer hole than the MPO, which I thought was a cool thing to do. And ours is a par 4, theirs is a par 3 starting on hole 1. I thought most of the holes were good. I'm trying to think of one that didn't sit well with me. I feel like maybe just like the walk after hole 9, like walking like over, 3/4 of a mile, almost a mile to get to hole 10's
Holy
tee pad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's, you're
Wow.
halfway through the round and you're like, all right, this is a long walk to just kind of talk to myself and figure out what I need to do or what I'm doing right or whatever. So,
I
again,
guess
just
that's for the commercial break for the
Right,
DGN, the viewer
right.
side of it. That's for them to launch all the commercials at once
Right.
at us instead of
Totally,
watching everyone
totally.
walk over. So
totally.
Um,
But yeah, I thought the course was set up well. There was the distances on the par 3s I think were pretty spot on. There was a couple that were like 300, like there was one 300 dead foot one, dead straight one. And then we had some like 340, 380. So you got to see all of the different styles of par 3 as well as par 4s. So I thought it was good for us.
Yeah, to provide just a little bit of comment on whether an event has to be an A tier and all that. I think there's a little bit of leeway there because the event team, I believe, was the same as far as the TD and the structure of the event that he had run. They knew that it could be run well. I'm pretty sure that's where it comes from. Although later we're going to talk about our ideas and comments on how that should work. But so what you had your off season. I think we saw you did your disc golf tourist thing with Alyssa and others. What was that like? I mean, you always love traveling.
Yeah, I actually did 2 back to back. So the first one filled up, and so the company reached out and said, "Hey, would you be willing to do 2?" So I was like, "Well, sure. I'm already taking a 14-hour flight. Might as well just like make it a little bit longer of a trip." And so went to Cambodia with a group, and we did end up finding a disc golf course out there. There was we were just going to set up tent baskets and do like a little kind of like impromptu thing and like a workshop and just have some fun. But we actually got reached out to on Instagram and was like, "Hey, I actually have a disc golf course here. Come check it out." And so we went and played there, and they had a bunch of little kids that just like worked for tips that would just go get your discs out of the bamboo or whatever it may be. And so that was super fun and just like a culture shock. There's just water buffalo everywhere. You're throwing over them, and little kids barefoot running around in the thorns, like getting your disc and having the time of their life. And then we went to Thailand as well, and with a different group of people. Two of the same people came on that trip, but a new tour guide and new group of people mostly. And we got to play at a course like just south of Chiang Mai called Lana Rocks. It's amazing course, especially FPO. I could see a FPO like Elite Series at that course. I think that course is like a hidden gem that I would highly recommend. But yeah, we got to play some good disc golf and go see some countries and explore and get to know, my fans and, now friends in another country and travel together. So it was super fun.
Yeah. And I wanted to kind of bring this up because for you, these trips, like, is this a refreshing thing for you? Is it an energizing thing? Is it just like an off-season mindset, or what's your intention for these trips? Just to travel, just recreational, or?
I mean, I think a few things, I guess. I mean, yeah, I definitely want to travel the country or the world. I mean, and have new experiences. And I think one of my favorite things is like, you know, communication, but without words so much, like, and try to, and that's like almost guaranteed when you go to another country. Like, you don't speak the same language. You have to figure out how to get along with not speaking the same language. So that's something I find to be like super, super fascinating to me. So I love traveling to other countries and just like realizing how far a smile can go, or just like some sort of gesture, and yeah, I think there's a part of it of like learning other cultures and helping me appreciate my situation more. And then also, yeah, connecting with fans. Like, these people are signing up to go on a vacation with Alyssa and I. So obviously they're fans, but trying to bridge that gap between like hey, you might message me on Instagram or say, hey, good job at this tournament, but like, let's get to know each other. And like, I want to show you support and for all the support you've shown me. And like, let's go have some experiences together. And honestly, all whatever, how many it was, 25 people or something, they were just like incredible. So we had a great time. And I think even some of them are friends now moving forward. So yeah, it's really cool.
So the disc golf tourist trips wrap up. You know, the season's right around the corner. Did you have any different mindsets coming into this year than you've had in previous years? Was like, I don't know. I have no idea where you're coming from in previous seasons, but like this year, was there any different mindset than other years?
Yeah, yes, for sure. I actually talked about it. So on the disc golf tourist trips, we do like a workshop clinic thing. And, a lot of the questions in my clinics have to do about mental game and stuff like that. And I was just kind of sharing something that I had been thinking about, where like I've found myself becoming frustrated or angry or sad or disappointed or any of these negative emotions on the disc golf course throughout my career. And like I just kind of took a step back and realized like, man, am I gonna even remember that shot that I just threw when I'm like a grandma and I'm like sitting there with gray hair and I'm a grandma? Like, am I even gonna remember that shot? No, I'm not. So like, why do I let it in that moment bring me to like almost verging on rage sometimes? Like, I'm like gritting my teeth and like, "Ugh," and it's just like, wow, it's a fleeting thing. I don't like, uh, I'm not like mad at myself for doing that or reacting that way. I think it's just natural. But I'm like just questioning it. Like, why does it make you feel like that? So I just kind of like, if I'm feeling any bit of like, I told myself for 2023 goal is like, if I'm feeling any of those emotions, just picture myself as an 80-year-old. And like, for one, that's going to make me laugh because like, who knows what I'm going to be doing at 80. And also just like, it kind of puts it in perspective of like, hey, it's not as like life altering as you think it is in this moment right now. So yeah, that's definitely been helpful for me.
Wow, you can always count on you, Paige, to think through like development of people, mentality. I love it. So thank you for bringing that. That's incredible. 83. I just imagined you that way, and it's I don't know. Everyone has their own thought.
What do you think? Do you think I'll still have hair?
Now you don't, because you said that. Like I just imagined you without hair. But no, you had hair. You might have had a cane though. I wasn't quite sure how that played into it, but
I could rock a cane.
Yeah,
rock a cane.
But it's like one of those like fake ones where you get to the tee pad and you just throw it down and just
oh my
rip it.
God, I swear. Okay, I swear I saw that happen this week in Austin. I went to this like little I don't even know what kind of music that would be considered. Maybe like some kind of like Americana, folky kind of thing.
Yep.
And where everyone's wearing the cowboy hats and the full get up and stuff. And like this man walks in with a cane and he's walking over, and then the song comes on. He puts the cane down and just starts doing like a little two-step thing, swinging his wife around. I was like, okay, was that cane for show or what is going on here? But
that's funny. There was like a viral video for a while going around with an old guy that did that, and he could just dance without the cane. But all right, Nick, what do you got? Something else.
Well, I was going to say, just kind of bringing it more back into the disc golf aspect of things. The 2023 year, we're finally in full swing of everything. You've got the first Elite Series win for your career so far this year. Just talk to us, goals for the rest of the season. Kind of mentally, are you playing every single event that's out there? Do you think you'll take some time off, European swing? Pretty much just what's going on in the 2023 season.
Yeah, so I'm playing all Elite Series and majors except for DDO. And yeah, I'm not playing any Silver Series. I guess Throw Pink is the exception to that because it's not considered a major, but it feels like one. So yeah, I think I played 24 events last year. I'm playing 22 this year, skipping Vegas, and then I don't remember what the other one that I'm not playing this year. Maybe just DDO. But anyway, so yeah, full schedule still. But yeah, coming home a bit. I actually home right now. I got home last night and I'm only 7 hours to Nashville, so that's going to be great going there. And then coming back after Nashville, and then I'm only 5 hours from Champions Cup. So I get to come home a little bit more and kind of reset, and kind of similar to tour as last year, where if it's over a 1 day drive, I'm going to be flying. I don't want to, my body, like I still feel young for sure, but I'm just starting to realize what a sore back is and stuff like that. Like definitely using Seth Muncie more often, and like, hey, my elbow hurts, hey, my knee hurts, like and just having to stretch more, and like watch what I eat, and definitely can't sleep on air mattresses anymore. So it's funny, it's really funny, especially because I still get carded to go in a Radio Dar movie that literally happened very recently. But I'm just feeling the effects of aging a little bit. So I want to make sure to keep my body young, especially if I'm, coming home in between. I want to show up to the tournament ready. And so I'm going to prepare myself and fly instead of driving that 24 hours to Vegas or whatever it may be. I think the Portland drive would be something like 30 something hours. So definitely flying to there. And then as far as the European swing, I'm going to Norway this year, which will be my first time. Very excited about that. And then European Open for sure.
Okay. So Nick, you dropped out once or twice, but I think you're back.
I'm back.
I have I have two questions, and they're actually separate, but I want to get them both out there. One is, you had mentioned DDO. You said you're not playing it. It seems like that's a trend of some sorts. The chat is like, hey, can she elaborate on that at all? Do you have any elaboration why that's an event you seem to miss?
Well,
okay,
I guess we'll talk about it. Well, for one, it falls on Alyssa's birthday,
okay,
and which also is the same weekend as Bonnaroo Music Festival, and the marketing director is a disc golfer, and so I'm doing a disc golf installment where, like on one of the stages, it'll be like, hey, putting with Paige Pierce, and so like literally, it's like Kendrick Lamar,
wow,
whoever, Odessa, and then it's like putting with Paige Pierce, and so like for me, I kind of talked about this with Blake Schaefer. He's my agent, and just helping me to make some of these decisions. And I'm coming to, like, at this point in my career, I know any single event is going to thrive with or without me. But disc golf would not thrive at this huge music festival with 100,000 people without me there. So like having that platform and that opportunity. And also he said, like, we're gonna do some promo videos where like I'm backstage with one of those artists, and they're putting like backstage right before or right after they get off stage. So like stuff like that, where that artist may share that, and then their platform on their platform, and then all those viewers are like, what, Kendrick Lamar is playing disc golf. Hopefully, I'm just throwing his name out there because I'm hoping, but it would just, I think, be huge. But also, DDO is one that I don't mind skipping, because the golf isn't like exciting to me. I don't go out there and feel excited. I'm pretty much throwing the same disc on every hole. And while I do play well there, it doesn't like fuel my fire. So I'm trying to play the events that ignite that fire in me and make me want to be there, instead of like, oh, why am I here? Okay. Also, just with all the BS that transcended at Worlds last year, just I don't want to see or talk to that country club guy ever again, if I could help it.
Wow. We never talked to you about that, and I'm not going to bring it all up right now, but at some point, maybe that'd be an interesting years down the road to talk about that. Maybe you're like, never again. But Worlds, I know the last couple of years, especially when you were doing the documentary, and this may have been just coincidence of the documentary, but you were so focused on Worlds. You made trips to the courses during the season, really trying to get that practice in. Is that a thing for you still, where you're like, that is the event?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. 1,000,000%. This year, I mean, I don't have any trips planned to Vermont. I mean, definitely not right now. It's very cold.
Don't go.
I'm a cold baby. That's why I skipped Las Vegas, and I'm happy because it snowed. So,
And there's snow in Vermont still, I'm sure.
yeah,
So
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I just talked to Evan with the Pro Tour, and he just got back from there, and it's snowy. So, yeah, it's not something that's on my radar right now. I probably will make a trip there on one of my off weeks, and especially because I haven't necessarily played that event super well over. I mean, I've won there before, but it's never easy. I'm like, whoa, I did it, and it's not like uh a place that I like. Brewster, mostly, it's one thing to be off the fairway, but out there at Brewster, if you're off the fairway, you're also OB on a lot of those holes. So sometimes it can feel like a double penalty. So really, I want to go focus my efforts on Brewster. So I'll probably make a trip up there at some point just to kind of get a couple rounds in, but I'm going to wait till it gets a little warmer.
Yeah, no, definitely.
have any closing thoughts, Nick? I got one more if you don't.
Nope, I think that pretty much covers it on my side.
All right, last one, Paige. Thank you for your time so much. You had mentioned, I think it was the middle of, I'm going to get it wrong. I already said you were the Waco winner. I think it was the middle of Waco. You talked about your pace of play, your individual pace of play, and the way you had practiced, and then coming in and you were taking more time on each of your throws. And you felt like maybe that, no pun intended, threw you off. And you started shifting. People noticed at this event, or at least they were commenting, it seemed like your pace of play was efficient. I don't know how else to say it. And do you feel like your pace of play changed and that's helping you?
Yeah, no, definitely. It was a very conscious thing. And yeah, just like you said, yeah, I was practicing this off season, and it wasn't like I wasn't standing on the edge of the tee pad pretending like this was for a Pro Tour title or anything like that. And I was throwing well and I was feeling so confident. And then I go into Waco and I shoot a terrible first round, and I'm like, man, why did that feel so different? Like, I felt so confident going into this round. Like, why did that feel so different? And that was what I concluded is like, man, I was really just like thinking too much and letting too much time go, and like all these thoughts are just like, okay, don't hit that tree, and if you did, and just like just all this chatter in my mind. And so I'm still taking enough time to choose my disc, what's my angle, where's my aiming point, boom, and that's it, and get it out of my hand before I let any thoughts go in. And it works super well for Alexis and Valerie, both the Mondujanos and Paige Shu. And there might be a couple MPO players. I'm not sure. I don't watch the MPO quite as strongly as I do. But yeah, it works well for me, for them. And, also for me now, I'm learning that, even though I've been doing this for so long, there's still things that I can tweak and improve on. And I think this is very clearly something that is helping me. I feel like I've always had the skill set. It's just my mind is my worst enemy. So when I'm playing catch, I'm literally gonna hit you in the chest almost every time. So, and that's like, hey, it comes in, you catch it, boom, rapid fire right away. And so I'm like, man, I just need to go play catch with that basket. And I totally was like, my fierce was just like coming in like butter right under the basket, and it just felt good, and it felt like one of my friends was over there waiting to catch it. So I'm definitely, yeah, totally. I'm definitely going to continue that for the remainder of the season and maybe into the rest of my career.
Awesome.
I know as viewers, we always appreciate the faster people play. It's nice not having to wait around 45 seconds.
Yeah, I did it for you guys too. Yeah,
exactly. So you got to look at it from both sides. But no, I can totally agree with that. I think a lot of players do kind of overthink their shots a little bit. Now, there are certain situations in the cold, the rain, the wind, anything like that, where sometimes you do have to think about it a little bit more.
Yeah,
but for the players who can kind of just get up, they have pride. They've thrown this shot millions of times. They know how to do it. Getting up and doing it, I think, is a great idea.
I'm taking it for sure. I know I've messed up in the past trying to be too serious in big moments. So yeah. Thank you, Paige, for your time so much. Did we miss anything that you'd like to talk about? I know sometimes you have big things going on that you say, hey, I'd love to share with the listeners, but is there anything?
I mean, I
just want to give you the platform.
I think I would just, I think I would love to just thank my sponsors in the 2023 season. I mean, Discraft again, I think it's pretty clear, I felt very confident with my disc, and they were flying super good for me. getting my Zeus's way out there. And I think I don't know if they were mentioning what disc I was throwing at all, but the pink driver that I was throwing was a crush, and that got me a lot of key birdies in the final 2 rounds for sure. And just the fierce and the buzz, I was just like relying on those heavily, and my partnership with them has been so beneficial for my career and just like my mindset and everything. And also to grip equipment and LWS or Schaefer Sports for also like helping me to manage all of these relationships and to strengthen them, and let me, focus on golf and not, hey, okay, I need to check in with this sponsor,
Mm-hmm.
but also OTB and Idio shoes. I just signed that deal and I'm super happy with them. I didn't have one slip, even in the wet day 1, no waterproofing issues. And it's nice to have a shoe that's literally designed for disc golfers. I got to have a meeting with them, and he literally walked me through every inch of the shoe and was like, this is why I did this. And I was like, wow, okay, that is a lot of thought that went into that. So it's cool to align myself with another company that's so disc golf centric. And I think I have one more sponsor coming, but I don't think it's quite ready to announce. But yeah, thanks to all of the support that I've been getting, and yeah, friends and family and everybody out there that's cheering me on. It's cool to be back playing disc golf, and I'm excited for Nashville.
Disc golf is better when you're at your best, Paige. We love it. We love watching it. So
thank you very much.
Yep. All right, have a great evening, Paige.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you guys too.
All right,
bye-bye.
Peace. All right, 2 things. The chat, someone in the chat, I mean, maybe they weren't around last year, but what happened at Worlds, I'm not going to get into every detail, but police were called. He said, she said, it had to do with Paige being in a practice round, and it was a he said, she said, and that's all I'll say. You can look it up online and find out more, but Paige said that was a big deal to her, and I just wanted to comment that was portion of what that was. But also, jerky is always in season. There is no off season. In fact, for our viewing audience, whoop, look at that. Just do the flat bill to the front, and I'm wearing a Double G Craft Jerky hat. This jerky is so tender, so flavorful. My favorite is the boom sauce, or the smashed cracked pepper, or the garlic lover's dream.
Sexton's the best.
Or, yep. So, okay, so they're all my favorite.
Yeah.
They're all really good, except for the boom sauce, but that's because I can't handle the heat.
You can handle it. As Ben says, intern Ben the other day, he's like, if you can't handle the fire, stay out of the kitchen.
Yeah, can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen.
So anyways, we love Double G Craft Jerky. Meat is good. And when it's done right, it makes your mouth water. When your mouth waters, you're enjoying something usually. So you're going to enjoy a bag of Double G Craft Jerky. This is a portion of it goes to help charity. Double G, the player himself, is giving back to the community. So when you purchase this product, it gives back to the community, as well as Paul Macbeth Foundation is part of this. And just in general, you're going to enjoy this during the rounds. I've been having this jerky as a way of getting me through a lot of the flights that I've been doing lately and the travel I've been doing. It is a protein snack that helps get you through your round or your day. Visit Double G Craft Jerky. Get yourself a bag, or get a whole subscription.
Yeah, I was going to say, get the subscription. You never have to worry about it again. You just sign up for it, and every single month you're going to have new beef jerky on your way. And then eventually you'll actually have the brand new flavor that they are coming out with. So be on the lookout for that from the Double G Craft Jerky.
Yes. So without really any further ado, we do have in our green room, and he's been there a little while. We've been entertained. We can see you, but we've been entertained for a little bit. But
Howdy, partner.
Yeah, howdy, partner. That's a good one, intern Ben. Howdy partner. Okay, well, let's bring into the show. Welcome into the show, Gannon Burr. Everybody, welcome to the show, Gannon. We're excited to have you. How is it going, dude?
Been going good. I'm just so excited to get my first Elite Series win.
Howdy, partner.
It seems like every podcast I go on, the boys are just never paying attention. So they're chatting up over there. Hopefully they'll quiet down. But I'm doing good.
Okay.
Who all are you with right now?
Gavin, Alden, and Isaac.
Okay, well, later on in the interview, they'll have to come over and say hello to everyone, us at the Nick and Matt show. I think we've had all of them except for Gavin on at this point. So we'll have to have Gavin make a quick little debut. But anyways,
For sure.
let's get right into talking about disc golf.
What's on
Man,
your
you
head?
open at Austin.
What, no,
yeah,
what's on,
exactly.
tell our listeners what's on your head, because some of them are listening. Gannon, explain it to us. It's your trophy, right?
It's my trophy. I won a cowboy hat. I don't think it's called like Stetson or something. It's some nice brand, I've been told. I don't know much about it, but I just thought it'd be kind of funny if I wore it for the interview. So that's what I have
That's
on right now.
beautiful.
No, it's perfect. Yeah, it's a good looking cowboy hat.
There is such a thing, but it's awesome to see you wearing it. Nick, I cut you off because I wanted that hat to be explained before we get into the interview so people can imagine it. So now go ahead.
No, but realistically, man, you are one of 4 players now to win a Silver Series event, an Elite Series event, and a major. And you've actually done that all within, the last 6 months, 8 months or so. And so pretty incredible. The only other 3 players are Chris Dickerson, Paul McBeth, and Ricky Wysocki. So that puts you in the caliber of players that, man, you've been showing us you can play with every single week in and week out. Kind of just talk to us. Your post-round interview was great, but give everyone who wasn't able to watch that, give us the rundown of how the weekend went.
Yeah, day one was really windy. I was actually fortunate to play a little bit later in the day, so I think the wind was down just a little bit. It was probably still consistently like 15, 20, gusts of 30. My putting has been feeling really terrible the entire season so far. I haven't had really one week where I feel good with my putter. So I had to kind of make things work. I haven't had a great, usually I either have a step putt or a step through putt, or sometimes I stand still, and usually I pick one of them. And, this weekend I did all 3 just because I was just confused on what to do because nothing felt good. So I kind of grinded that out after round 2 a little bit, just kind of trying to figure out something that would work. And I got something a little bit figured out. It's not like a permanent fix for sure, but it's something. I've also noticed my putt has got super nose down, which I don't love, especially when it gets windy out. It gets so nose down to a point where I can literally see the entire bottom of the disc when I putt, and it just makes it hard to get the disc to the basket. And especially if I'm putting in any type of headwind, it just drops so hard. Like I have to aim super high, I have to putt it super hard, and it kind of just throws off my stroke a little bit. But yeah, started off really windy round 1, and I kind of told myself play safe. I've been playing a little bit more aggressive the last couple events, and I kind of made a plan to play more golf and play more position instead of, I was previously going a little bit more aggressive on par 4s where, last weekend or this weekend, I was kind of just playing more conservative and then attacking on the second shot to always give myself a look for birdie. And yeah, I started off round 1 with my first bogey-free round of the year, and that felt good because I hadn't had one since in the, 7 Pro Tour rounds so far. So my 8th round was my first bogey-free, and moving on to round 2, it got really nice conditions. It wasn't, weather wasn't like too nice really. The last couple of days were not windy at all, really. Maybe just slight breezes, maybe some gusts at some times. It was like 55 to 60 degrees, so not ideal for what I'm looking for, especially because I have a hard time in cold weather. I always have hand warmers, so if it's under like 70, I pretty much have a hand warmer no matter what. And day 2 was a little bit rough, I guess. In the middle section, I started off 5 for 5, and then kind of slowed down. Got a couple bad breaks, couple just like missed putts. Like I'd putt and I'd just putt it OB. Like I'd cost myself a stroke, 120-foot roll away. So towards the middle of that round, everything kind of fell off, and then was able to go birdie, eagle to get me right back in it, and had a chance to take the lead going into 18 and threw out of bounds on 18. So, that wasn't fun, but it all worked out.
Okay. I want to comment real quick, something that made me off camera be like, what? Under 70 degrees, Gannon? Under 70, and you're using hand warmers?
Yep.
What?
It's bad. I think it's just because like I was told it's because I'm like still kind of young and I'm like really tall and growing fast, so my blood actually has a hard time like getting to my fingertips, kind of in a way.
Okay.
So I'll just have a hard time extending my finger basically, and it's hard to get a lot of spin on the putts and like that pop I need to. So I'll either miss like left and right, no spin, wobbly. It's just kind of a mess. So it's mainly just for the putting though.
Hey, I'm not quite in the similar place of less than 70 degrees, but I am a comfort player. Mittens with hand warmers in them. Yeah, absolutely. Good idea for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wear shorts every single disc golf round, no matter really how cold it is. The only round I've worn pants is round 1 at Waco last year, and that was like 35 with 35 mile per hour winds. So,
dude, that was one of the worst days to ever wear shorts, round 1 at Waco last year.
Yeah. So I'm pretty immune to that, other than that round. So I like to keep my layers pretty loose, and like I guess tight layers, less layers. So I don't have really. It's not getting in the way. I don't like to wear sweatshirts when I play. If I have to, I will. But I try to like wear just like tight layers and layer up a lot.
Okay. What's your, we asked Paige, but we'll ask you, like, your general opinions on the course. Like, when did you know what the course was, and what was your excitement level, and how do you feel about it now?
Well, so originally, me and Silas Schultz, so I stayed in the hotel with the last couple weeks. We went out to play just, I think, the day after Waco, and we ran into Paul McBeth, Tristan Tanner, Austin Turner, and Adam Hammis. And we met up with we didn't actually know where hole 1 was at, because the parking lot's not really by like hole 1 at all. You have to shuttle up there, and there's no road either to get there. So we started on hole 9, and we ran into them, and Tristan ended up just walking off the course because he said he's like, this is the worst course I've ever played. And so my hopes were like not too high then. I played it myself, and I thought it was actually a decent course. I think it was like a couple holes, maybe 2 or 3 holes I thought were pretty bad, like hole 6, like that spike hyzer around the corner that is so difficult, especially with like bad wind. And then hole 17 is not great either. But I think if you look at the scoring separation, and hole 1 was the other hole I didn't think it was good, just because there was no score separation. I feel like it was a pretty good course, and especially like coming down the stretch. I mean, 17 did make things exciting, and 18 was I think a great finishing hole just on how it played. Tee shot's pretty easy, but you still need to throw it kind of far to get up where you want to. And I was probably 370 out every day. And I just go with a mid-range into the green, a little bit uphill, and throw it hard. First couple of days I turned it over, 1 win OB right. So I just corrected that final day to put it close, because, I mean, there's no good way to play hole 18 safe, in my opinion, especially because I'm so bad at like short putter shots. So I wasn't just going to like lay up to the bottom of the hill and then throw up, because that would have been straight out of bounds. I probably would have lost. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good course, actually. I think they can probably improve it a little bit, especially just with feedback, and if they have it at this property next year, for sure. But I thought it was pretty good. I thought it made it for exciting disc golf, which is what the fans want to see. And it was great for spectating. We had a ton of spectators out there. It's probably the most spectators I've ever played in front of, which was really cool.
So elaborate a little bit. Hole 18. I was going to ask you this question, but you led right into it. You said, hey, if I laid up, probably would have lost the thing. But isn't it also true so you're just saying you played the odds? You said I'm more confident with the shot going for it. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. I'd rather go for that shot than throw it short and lay it up. Like if you put me 200 feet away, I'll get up and down less than I would from 350 feet. 100%. And it's because I'm so bad at that shot.
Okay. I hope you're working on that. No, but
I've been trying to. I can't seem to get my, people have been telling me to fan grip, and I even talked with Yuli about it for a little bit. I can't seem to get it right. I don't know if it's my long fingers, long arms.
Okay. But
bad timing when it comes to short shots. I can't throw short shots.
All right. Well, you didn't need it this week, but I'll just say it as a viewer interested in what's happening. I was pleasantly surprised to see you go for it. As a fan, I like it. And as a competitive mindset, I'm going, that's awesome. A strategic one, I'm going, wow. But you did it. But I thought to myself, was your mindset this at all, Gannon? You just said, you're playing your odds, your favorite. Had you gone OB up there, is that also in your head? You're like, I would be up there with still a chance for a putt, to save par.
Oh, yeah. I took that differently. I thought you meant because I'd gone OB during round 2, right OB. Okay. And round 1, I think I got lucky to not go right OB. And I threw the same disc every round. I'd go over stable D3 and then M2 into the green every time.
Okay.
And so
Gannon has a peanut gallery behind him. So for our listeners,
I always know something's going on when I hear Alden's just his little wheezy laugh happening in the background.
We can't hear it, but you can.
Yeah.
He's recording a vlog. That's why.
Yeah, he's definitely recording a vlog. So yeah, back in 18,
Okay.
Gano be right. And after day 2, I was so mad because I'd had the hottest start of anybody in round 2. Anyone had the whole tournament. I was 6 through 7, and I was like, I kind of obviously had a couple bad breaks and bad play during the middle of that round. I was like 2 over through like a certain like 7-hole stretch in the middle of round 2. Obviously brought it back, and then hole 18, the final round, I just turned it over too much, and I was like, I'm so mad. So I went down actually after my round 2, went back and threw about 6 or 7 shots with different discs, just trying to figure out what would work better. I tried a forehand to see if that worked, but the ceiling on the left side over the car path was too low, and it if you hit the car path, I think you skip OB right. If you air it, you skip OB right. If you put it too high, it hits the canopy and falls down, still OB. So I was like, oh nope, sidearm is definitely not a play. So then I threw a couple different discs, backhand. I even tried a putter. Putter's a little too slow to get underneath the low ceiling, so I just stuck with my mid range. And it's a common mistake I do a lot. Is if I'm scared, I overcorrect on the mistake, and I see a lot of players do that, especially in like high pressure situations. So I just told myself like just commit to it, and I think I probably only took like 10 to 15 seconds on that M2 shot coming in hole 18 final round yesterday, just because I told Gavin like I'm just gonna throw it confidently. I'm not gonna think too much about it. And the way the car path is, it sits pretty level with the ground. So I'm like, if I hang it out too wide, it's gonna hit the path and still be in bounds. So that was my like goal, just to land in bounds. And the best way to do that was to try to park it, I feel like.
Yeah, and I totally was like, he's feeling it. Meaning like when it came out of your arm, I was like, I guess that was the best decision to make, and you did it. You executed. So amazing job there. Intern Ben has a question for you.
Yes, intern Ben here.
You gonna go on yourself?
Oh, yeah, I guess. So kind of not to do with the event, but Paige was talking about, we had Paige earlier. She was talking about how her method that's been really helping her play well is getting the disc, looking at her line where she wants to aim, choosing the angle and just throwing without really thinking. I just want to see what you are thinking about on the tee box, and what's your approach to hitting your lines and stuff like that. Is it just don't think and go, or is it more methodical?
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. If I'm not thinking, I'm throwing OB. So I have to exactly see my line. I like try to get a couple pumps in. I visualize exactly what angle I want it on, like how much angle, even like the slightest amount of wind, I'll adjust a little bit according to my line. So I'm not only picking an area to place it in, I'm picking a way to get to that area, which for me is most of the time an overstable Anheuser out of the hand to flex. That's the best way I can hit my lines.
Good question.
You said that in the past, the Anheuser reliefs, especially throughout the woods. Is that just something that from a young age you just learned when you first started playing that was the most comfortable? Do you work on the hyzer flip really? Or, what is the reasoning for that?
Yeah, I was always a hyzer flip player to begin with. I'd take a super flippy disc and just throw it down the gut, and I wouldn't think much. But as I've gotten better and thought more, like I think just straight shots, especially like mid ranges, is just a cheat code. Like if you can throw a mid range, 400 feet, that's a big reason why Isaac did so good at Idlewild, is because he can just throw a mid range super far, compared to, far and accurate compared to a lot of players, and be comfortable with it. And I feel the same way. So I can throw mid range probably 410, 20 feet maybe if I need to, and it flies almost like a putter. It's straight, especially if you find the right one. And I feel like hyzer flips don't work that well when hitting gaps in a way, because you have to start it out on the hyzer, and usually you'd have to aim at like one of the trees on the right, and then you'd flip it up through the gap. I guess it kind of depends on the shape of the hole, but like once that disc starts to fade, it's just going to dump, because once it loses that speed, it's just going to dump. And their hyzer flips are just super touchy and specific shots. If you throw them right, they can hit super cool lines that a flex shot can't. But I think with a flex shot, especially with the slightly overstable mid range, slight Anheuser out of the hand at the left side, and it just gets to flat and goes flat the whole way. Where something flippy, I just think it's uncontrollable. for me personally, leaning over, it's harder to hit gaps. Even when I'm so leaned over, if I'm more upright and just keeping a flat level pull through, that's how I hit my gaps the best.
Gotcha.
Good.
Do you feel like that made you develop more power in your shots as well? Is ripping through a little bit more overstable stuff on the Anheuser line? Do you think that correlated to in the more open spaces, throwing further?
Not necessarily. I think I've just thrown further just by like getting a little bit stronger, a little bit quicker, maybe even a little bit taller. I can't throw far at all if I throw on hyzer. If I throw on hyzer out of my hand, it's 500 feet max. Like I can't get past that at all. But if I throw flat or slight ante out of the hand, I can hit 600. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works, but a lot of people, like Kevin Jones especially, he throws on extreme hyzer, double G, like they're all super hyzer and getting the this to do the work. I'm more putting it on the angle and let it kind of just ride. I don't know. That's just kind of how I've developed though.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that because it's working.
Yeah, it's it's working. It's true. You are the youngest to win an Elite Series, if I'm not mistaken, and you were the youngest to do USDGC as a title. And you're one of, you said Nick, right? Is one of four to do this.
One of four players also had the Silver Series along with that. I
heard in your post-round interview, Gannon, you mentioned that, who was it? One of your friends there, Isaac or Alden. It's a X major. Come on, man. No, that
was pretty funny.
Alden always loves to give me crap for no reason.
Okay, that's what it is.
Also, we actually to mention it. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, but the debate, Alden aced hole 15 at round 1 at the Open at Austin. He said it's not an ace because there's no ace pot. I think that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Take a pull. Hold on. We're going to pull 500 live concurrent right now. Intern Ben will throw the pull up. Is it an ace or not? If there is...
Ridiculous.
Is it an ace or not?
Ridiculous.
It could be that simple.
The
yes
answer is simple. It counted as a 1 on his scorecard. It's what we can see in UDisc and the PDGA live scoring. It is a 1. It took 1 throw to get into the basket.
The debate goes on.
Is an ace.
The debate goes on, though.
The poll is live.
How does it go on past that?
People used to say if it wasn't in a tournament, it wasn't an ace. Until you had a tournament ace. It's not an ace. Is it an ace in my backyard if I throw a first shot? Where does it stop, Nick? Where does it stop? A 75 jump putt, short hole, is that an ace?
Look, if that's from the tee pad to the basket and it took you 1 throw to finish that hole, it's an ace. It
was an ace, Gannon. What do you think?
The results are in on the chat.
What's the result?
It says 67% no.
Oh,
33% no.
It's rigged.
70. Wait, no's were 70% for a second. It's really going back and forth. It's back down to 66 saying no. So I'm surprised.
No, I put 2 no's. That's why. No yeses.
Oh, no, you didn't. Okay, give us a real.
If it was an ace, where's my ace?
Give us the real poll. Okay, Gannon.
Alden,
it's
put
obviously
that in the
an ace.
feedback
It's
then for the
obviously an
tournaments.
ace.
Next year at Open at Austin, request that there's an ace pot.
And his other argument is it has to be in a round that you only throw 1 shot. I know, and he says it's not an ace because there's no ace pot. He's these dumb rules.
It is an ace.
And he's laughing over here because that's how stupid he is.
Alden's in the chat, by the way, again. Alden's literally in the chat riling them up. That's why.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, he's riling them up. He's skewing the results. So
he's probably voted 100 times.
With all of his burner accounts.
There's only 1 voted no, and it's probably Alden.
All right. So you talk about not losing your temper on the course in your post-round interview. Shout out to that. I think, some would say you're wise beyond your years. You mentioned, Eagles wings, and just all transparency. Is that something that comes up often at these meetings that you go to, or is this a one-time thing and it just stood out to you to remember that? Is that something you struggle with often, your temper on the course? What made you think to say that?
I haven't really struggled too much with temper on the course. It's just randomly, some tournament I could just get super angry at shots. I remember Worlds last year was really bad for me. That's just because I wanted to win so bad. Idlewild in 2021. I can name the exact tournaments where I've had bad temper. Ledgestone 2021, and some people one guy was, can you turn that off? I can literally hear it.
So Gannon, you're doing excellent. It's like the speech jammer app that used to be a thing. They're like,
yeah, I
talking
can hear myself talk in my ear.
That's horrible.
I might just need to put both AirPods in so I don't have to hear it anymore.
Sorry, bro. Simon Lazat says he's had 0 aces in his life. By the way, just interject. He said that in the comments. 0 aces in his life then. So
so stupid.
All right, Gannon. Sorry I cut you off, but it was really the room you're in. They're cutting you off. So get back to it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're good now. So yeah, I just made it. I've had bad attitude in the past on just certain tournaments, and some people have noticed it, and I just I want to, I think that's a big thing too. Is you want people to know how you act on the course is a big thing, especially. I know a lot of sounds weird, but a lot of people do look up to me, and I don't want to be a bad influence on anybody. I'm sure I'll get frustrated every once in a while now, but I'm going to try my best to just stay calm. Like I said, I don't think I got mad at not one time at any shots because there's always more holes to play. And, I think I said, I was it doesn't matter if you're in front of a couple people or a couple thousand people, you always just want to, look your best on the course and, represent yourself well.
There you go. I like that last line because I'm like the competitor in you, it comes out, but yeah, I guess do your best, man. That's cool.
Sometimes you just want it so bad, and when you can feel it slipping through your fingers, it feels off. I remember telling myself at Worlds last year, I was already 10 strokes back with 2 rounds of play. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go 13-13 and win this thing. And when I'm 1 down through 9, I'm just feeling it slip through my fingers, and that's a terrible feeling. So
it's a horrible feeling.
It's so bad. And we saw it with Ricky. Ricky was laying on the fence last year after I'm not sure what round it was, but he was already pretty far back last year, and he does traditionally pretty good in Emporia, and to not win that for him, he probably broke him pretty good too.
Wow. Speaking of Ricky, and I know we're here for you today, but did you happen to see him or talk to him or during any of the rounds? He dropped out with 3 holes left. Anything that you saw?
No, that's a little confusing to me, dropping out with 3 holes left. I feel there's somewhat. I don't think he was in the cash. I'm not sure if that matters at all.
I don't know. I think it was 50. I think it was 50 something going into that round, but I don't know what the cash line was. I didn't look.
Yeah. Well, he just went bogey, 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 and then he dropped with 3 holes to play. I don't know. He could have played lefty or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel I would have finished if that was me, but I don't know.
But you didn't see. You didn't talk to him.
No, I didn't really see him much just because we teed up at such at different times. I saw him in practice one time, but I was on the phone with somebody, so I was I didn't talk to him at all.
Okay,
but what's up 2 times?
I just stayed at his house for Memorial, so we talked that whole week, and he couldn't even hold a putter. He couldn't even hold a putter and putt it 10 feet.
Wow.
So hopefully he's getting better and just rest up for Champions Cup. There's tons of Elite Series left that he can do good at, so
yeah,
he should be fine.
Yeah. So there's a few things you haven't accomplished yet: a World Championship and
a novice win.
Yeah, a novice win, which you can't go back to that one.
Yeah,
I like that.
Think about that anymore.
I like that. Wear that as a chip on your shoulder, and that's how you finish out your season, your career. And you haven't been a Pro Tour points winner. Which one do you? I'm transitioning from the Ricky conversation. Which one do you hold in a higher esteem? Worlds win or Pro Tour points win? Which one are you going for? Both.
No, it's not even close.
Both,
yeah.
But if you had to,
Worlds for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Worlds.
Yeah. Worlds for sure. That's. I think I have a good chance this year too. It's GMC. I bet Green Mountain is some of my favorite courses on the planet. So they're probably combined. I don't know. I'd say combined. Just the area itself is probably number 1. WR Jackson's actually my favorite course for Champions Cup, which that's another tournament I'm looking to do good at because I think I have a ton of fun at that course, which is important. Okay, Gavin's saying he's going to kill me because he wants to win Champions Cup more. He just went.
You shut up, bro. I'm going to win that one.
He did good last year. We both got top 5, so that felt good. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited for those 2 tournaments, but I'm looking at Worlds a lot. I definitely want to play good there.
Good. Is this out of place to ask if you're going to throw Prodigy discs at Worlds?
I know. I don't know. I don't really have a comment on that for this time.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just working
Hey,
on a resolution. Yeah.
I had to ask 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
5 weeks
It's
ago, you
fair.
said you're done, and then we know publicly what was released. And I know that you're currently throwing Prodigy discs. The chat, everybody under the sun wanted us to ask that. And so I'll ask one more follow up. You said you had no comment on that. Let me ask about this. You just got a win. Do you have any understanding right now if there is a I guess, would it be a signature disc of some sorts for winning this tournament? Do you have any information on that?
Yeah. I mean, I would expect. I'd expect one to come out. I
Okay,
guess.
cool. Awesome. Well, we
Yeah.
ask a lot of our guests that if they win, and they try to give us that information. So yeah, cool. Well, then if it does, everyone's going to buy that disc. It's going to get bought up, and that'll be an awesome way to support you as well. So we'll wait to hear more on the front of all the legal happenings. I understand you're in an interesting situation, but you said it's seeking to be resolved. Is it, we know with Brody at that point a couple weeks ago, you said about 2 weeks. Do you think it's just something that's lingering? Do you have any idea of when that might be resolved?
No,
Okay.
I have no idea. It's just a slow process.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
It's Franklin anyway, so I'll just spoil that for now.
Go check
People-
it out real. We've already spoiled it.
People are still like, is this for real? Like, and then there's people in there like,
It blew
So
up.
entertained.
That real, yeah.
they're so entertained. They're like, I can't believe you think this is for real. So like, there's all different people in there, but, well, good. Nick, what did we miss talking about for this event or anything?
Well, I guess kind of, not even so much with the event, but just your travel situation in general. It seems like you're at an Airbnb with a bunch of your really close friends, a lot of competitors with you, and good camaraderie. Talk to us a little bit how that has kind of been, helping you throughout the last couple of seasons, just finding a core group of dudes to hang out with. And just talk to us about that for the people. There's a lot of van lifers out there, Airbnbers, hotelers, everything, all up and down in the disc golf world. And you seem like you found a pretty solid crew of people to hang out, work out, and compete with. Just kind of talk to us about that.
Yeah, it's a little confusing because I don't have a van or a car or a license, so somebody has to drive me everywhere I go. And usually the payment is they would maybe get to stay in the hotel if there's like an extra bed. We're in a hotel right now, actually. It's a super nice hotel. It was pretty cheap too.
Oh, and just like that,
Oh,
Gannon
no.
drops out. Leave his camera. We'll see if he comes back in.
Oh, I bet you someone's calling him.
Somebody's. It could
Isn't
be.
that-
Can you hear us? Sometimes it mutes the mic when he
Someone
comes back.
I bet you one of his buddies called him.
What happened?
Okay,
Yeah,
so we
it
can't
muted.
hear him. So Gannon, if you can hear us, you got to close it out and click that link again. There's some weird, I don't know if it has to do with iPhone or something, but like if they get interrupted in the middle of it, it knocks them out of the app, and then it like when they come back, their audio's muted. Sorry about that. But hey, he's out for a second. He would. Oh no, he's back. We'll talk about it after he's gone. Hey, can you hear us, Gannon? Oh my goodness, we can't hear him. Can we?
Yeah,
Oh yes. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. He's back.
Yep.
Here we go. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Did one of your buddies in the room
Cole
call
Dolan
you?
tried calling me.
See, there we go.
No, Cole tried calling me. He's not in the room.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Oh, he went off this last round, didn't he? Or his second round?
Second round, and then he got third at Waco, which is
Yeah.
really cool to see.
Yeah.
He's always had the game. It was just about time. He
Man.
played, pretty good. Yeah. So I don't have a car or license, obviously. So the last couple weeks for Waco and Open to Austin, I was able to split a hotel with Silas Schultz, which I guess just helped financially a little bit.
Mhm.
And then Alden was nice enough to drive us around everywhere. So thank you to him for putting up for us being annoying. And so I don't know. Ideally, I'd like to have a van or something, but at the same time, I also like hotels. I'm between like, do I want to go cheap? I don't even know what the best way to do it is. So we're kind of just rolling with whatever happens. If I'm lucky, I know someone in the area, I can stay with them. But obviously, just trying to be in a good part of the town. Some of these towns can be a little sketchy sometimes. So you want to make sure you get a nice place to stay. And yeah,
Nick and Matt Show Studio, MVP Open.
Boom.
If you
can
want
party
it,
down here.
if you want it, you hit me up. But you're gonna have to do it early because it's prime time. People are always hitting me up last second, like, man, I know you live in town. Give me a spot. I say, no, sorry, can't. We'll take like one person.
That'd save me a lot of money.
Well, if you're down, you hit us up. But
okay.
Pizza and Dino Nuggets. That's that's what's on the menu, man. So.
And Taco Bell. Don't forget Taco
Bell, bro. That is like, I hate to say it. It's a little embarrassing, but that's like one of my favorite go-to fast foods. It's so good.
I hadn't had Taco Bell in a while. Actually, I like Taco Bell a little bit, but yeah, that's what I had. We were trying to go to Waffle House with Silas because he loves Waffle House and I do too. It was packed, so we had to go to Taco Bell, and I got two tacos, Supreme ones. And then I got some Dr. Pepper and some cinnamon twists.
Yes.
Super healthy.
Dude.
Very healthy. Is this before or after your win?
It's right before the round.
Yes.
All right. So maybe Taco Bell before every round. Maybe that's the little mojo.
That's probably how you should play it.
It's probably like, yeah.
Yo, is that a barefoot in the background? That's crazy.
Someone keeps putting some feet up. They're like, someone's really.
New foot just dropped.
That's the chat's favorite thing right now is the different things showing up and behind Gannon Burr.
Barefoot. That is premium content.
New real content.
Oh, it's Alden's foot. The mystery is revealed.
That's new content for Instagram Reels or whatever.
He's now putting his sock back on. He's totally planned that.
We can't see that close. It's pretty good, but.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Hey, it was nice talking.
I don't think I'll ever get a podcast or a little interview podcast that without getting just destroyed by my friends.
But that makes it fun and entertaining for all of the viewers and all the listeners.
Yes.
And so we appreciate your friends for that specific reason. It's funny because we were talking about this right before. We're like, wait, we actually just had Gannon on. What really more can we ask him? And then it's really just based on, hey, what's going on at Austin? You just want congratulations. Yeah. And then the fun little spectacles that happen afterwards.
But hey, this time it didn't cut out 30
I was
guys.
just gonna say this is way different all around. Yeah. You're not going over the hills and cutting out. It's just that was pretty funny. We enjoyed that. Yeah. We even redid. We did the title. We said Gannon joins 28 times.
It was awesome.
All right. What did we miss, Nick?
Go ahead, Matt.
What did we miss?
Well, I was going to say, if we haven't missed anything, go ahead and grab all your friends. Let them come in the frame for a second and say
if
hello.
They want to. If they want to.
On,
but we need Alden's foot only, though.
You want to say hi?
I love the way you just said that.
Just Alden's foot.
You guys want to say hi?
That's not Terry.
Yeah. It's not Terry and Johnny V. Shout out Gavin, Johnny V. Happy birthday. Wow. Alden's hair is down.
Alden's foot.
Isaac?
Alden's foot.
Man. Whoa. Yeah.
Let go. I can't.
He's stuck. He got stuck in Alden's hair. All right.
Obviously, it never brushes his hair.
It's all tangled.
For our listening audience, these are the times when you have to find the timestamp, and we're at now about an hour and 42. So you can go on YouTube and check that out. So. Cool. Well, we just had a really successful event. Intern Ben did Northeast Disc Golf Expo.
Yes, sir.
We had Overthrow giving form reviews, and they looked at intern Ben's form and they said that is a spitting image of Gannon Burr's form. Yep. How did you do that?
Ben's got good form.
Thank you. No, literally, but actually, this is facts.
You can pull yourself up. Right. Go to the 4-up. Go to the 4-up. Come on. There you go.
This is actual facts. I had him review my form, and he just looked at it and he was like, over and over, kept repeating. He's like, you just gotta smooth it out. I don't know what else to say. And that was the best compliment I ever got.
And then we went out to eat, and they were passing the phone around looking at your form, and they're trying so hard to find something wrong with it. And they cannot find anything wrong with intern Ben's form. So good job, Gannon.
It's solid. It's just gonna take more practice. That's pretty much it.
More practice.
But he patterned it after you, Gannon.
I did. I told him that.
That's awesome. He's my hero.
Yes. And I was just gonna say, and vice versa. So whenever we're around and intern Ben's gonna say anything, we just go Gannon Burr. That's all we say all the time.
I pick you to win every event ever.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ben probably got this one right because he picked you to win it. So.
Did you pick him?
No, I did. So we were at the table with Jesse and Robbie, and yesterday, and he said, "Guess who won?" I said, "Gannon Burr," and we were right. I was right.
But when we did our picks, we have to go back and listen at the end of the show last week.
Oh yeah,
It was super quick.
I don't think I picked Gannon, but I
Oh
forget
boy,
who I picked.
it's over now.
Traitor.
Yep.
Hey,
I picked
He'll
you for
never make that
USDGC.
mistake
I
again.
believed in you, so you're welcome.
Okay, I got you.
All right. Did we miss anything, Gannon? Is there something that you're not telling us that you just were dying to tell us, or your friends have been dying to tell? I mean, anything, or are you good?
Probably not.
Okay.
I promised my caddy if I won, I'd wear this for Texas State,
Oh,
but
that's
it
right,
like
Matt.
it really doesn't fit my head that well. It like kind of. I don't know. It's
Shout
kinda
out to-
shaky.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matt, right? He you said 2 rounds
Yeah.
and 15 holes or something.
Yeah, he had to catch a flight, so Gavin took over.
Oh, what a thing.
Yeah. Everyone, some people have probably seen it on like the humor pages, but we tried to get him to stare into the camera just super awkwardly, like at all times.
They love it. The fans
yeah.
love it. The dude is becoming an icon of sorts. I mean, we'll probably get him on the show at some point. If he's traveling with you during MVP, I'd like smoking and grilling meat as well. So there's a whole collaboration happening here, I'm sure.
Ricky just texted me, "Have fun winning. I'll be back soon."
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, that was exclusive.
Hot take.
Thank you.
Dun dun dun.
All right, Gannon.
Ooh.
What? You were gonna say something.
He's scared now.
No, I'll
Okay.
just say that's I'm terrified.
Okay. All right.
Anyways, Gannon, best of luck over at Texas State. I'm sure intern Ben, when we talk about it tonight, will pick you to win the tournament. And I think
You
at this
better.
point, you're a pretty safe
Oof.
bet to pick at most tournaments.
Oof.
So we wish you the best of luck, and looking forward to seeing the coverage.
Sweet.
All right, man.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Take it easy,
Bye.
brother.
Oh my, Gannon Burr, what an awesome, fun interview that one was. I will say my question to him about, this was one of the burning questions out there, right? My question to him, it just lined itself up. He's talking about Worlds, and I'm like, so you're throwing Prodigy at Worlds? And
Yeah.
for our listening audience, you probably heard the pause, but he's sitting there and he's like, oh boy, like I was not expecting that at this moment in the interview. And he ultimately said, I don't have a comment. But me reading into it, as I can do and all of you can do, sounds like, I don't know, it just sounds like it may not be Prodigy disc. I mean, I feel like
I don't want to be a speculation podcast, and
No.
so I'm really going to kind of leave it to where when the facts come out, when we know more.
So you're not
Chris
gonna
is
share
come
your
on the
opinion on
show,
things?
And I mean, like,
did his
I don't-
interview, it seemed like he was,
in my opinion, and this is my opinion, and this is just based on kind of what has come out so far, and it's nothing that really Gannon has said because he hasn't been able to say too much since everything's been going on. But I don't think he'll be throwing Prodigy by the end of the year.
Oh,
But at the same time, if you were to tell me no matter what, he will be finishing out the 2023 year with Prodigy discs, I'd say, okay, then
Yeah.
that also makes sense.
it can go either
So-
way. And
Exactly.
he said
And
it, he
that's
said it's
where-
going to, it's working itself, whatever. He said something along those lines,
Yeah.
work itself out.
Yeah.
And,
And I think
maybe
with
I'm
how
totally,
kind of-
maybe I'm like totally off. And he's just like, I can't answer that. And I wasn't ready for it. So it could be any of those things. But we asked because a lot of comments came in today saying that we had to ask that. And well, I think we did. And then the tour disc or whatever. What do they call him when he wins an event commemorative or
Yeah,
something?
Like
commemorative,
like a-
that's good.
And he
Yeah.
said he thinks there will be. So it's interesting, you know, all this is coming together, but good interview with him. Loved it.
Yeah, I
Loved
think
it.
realistically at this point, Prodigy's best case is to hook him up whenever he can. He gets a big win like this. Someone was saying earlier in the chat that he didn't thank his sponsor, Prodigy. He, from what I remember in the post-round interview after his win, he did thank them. I think that was actually the first company that he did thank. And then I think it was Titan Disc Golf was the other one that his buddy Matt owns. So they're still, it's an amicable relationship as of right now. And I guess we'll see within the next few months what kind of goes on with that. I'm just excited to see him play this year. He's been on such a tear since USCGC that watching him come up into the ranks has been pretty awesome to see.
I hope he's not too scared to come on the show in the future. If you're still listening, Gannon, let me know. We only did what we had to. I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, he'll come back.
So, awesome. Well, let's do this. These interviews lately, because we've been getting 2 of them and we've actually been doing, you know, like 30 minutes with each of them. We get later into our podcast. We haven't talked about a lot of these different things that we can talk about, but the interviews are great, and we want to hear those more than anything. So, but let's move on a little bit here. A little bit. We already talked a lot. Let's literally set like a 2-minute timer on this. I don't want to get into it too deep, but the course design. So Evan and I were having a conversation, and Paige even brought it up. She's like, I thought there has to be like a track record, right? To be able to be an elite or an A tier, even at the very least. And Evan and I, and I'm not going to put words in Evan's mouths, but ultimately we both kind of came to an agreement that if an event is going to a new course, like, so I kind of give that the credit of saying open at Belton, open at Austin. Like, okay, like they're like the same event, but it's a new course. If you're going to take an event or any event to a new course, it should, well, this is a strong word, should be demoted or at least played down to a silver event. Still can be a part of the tour, but let's get it through that lower level first so that these things can be fixed for the higher level. I am not the professional for course design, but I'm taking feedback from percentages of the pros. Some say it's not so bad, some say it is. But the viewing experience, everything combined, let's put it through a silver event. Nick, what do you think? Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I thought that was kind of one of the main reasons for the silver events is when places are switching up venues, whether it's the same tournament staff or not. I thought if you're switching up the whole venue for it, I thought that was kind of the point of the silver series was to have this event there, get the feedback on it. If it's good enough, it makes it up to an elite series event. If it's not, maybe keep it down at a silver series or drop it from the tour completely. So I thought that was a general rule of thumb. When it comes to the course designing aspect of it, I'm not a course designer whatsoever. I've never really designed a course. I've designed a couple holes here and there that people have asked for my opinion on. And especially when it comes to a golf course, I would have realistically no great idea on saying, hey, let's do this without kind of playing the fairways, which is ultimately kind of boring to do when you're designing on a golf course. But for this tournament, I think the biggest thing that they can do is take the feedback that has come to them. And if it is an event that's happening on the schedule next year, is working with all that feedback. Someone had said that the tournament director on his, I think, pre-tournament interview during the press conference had said, look, this is a new project for us. There is room for improvement, and hopefully they'll make those changes going into the 2024 year if this is still on the schedule.
Sure. I mentioned a little bit in Gannon's interview, but Ricky out with the DNF. I wanted to just pick his brain a little bit. And I think I brought up the idea of which would you rather, Worlds or Pros Tour points winner, and because Ricky kind of was alluding to, this is the more valuable in a lot of ways. He didn't say it in those words, but in a lot of ways he kind of did. But is there a risk here for Ricky? I mean, it's likely to be 4 events, right? I mean, it could be more. Like, we don't know. He wants his health. Of course, we want his health. So I'm not saying like, uh-oh, Ricky, you're making bad choices. I think he's making a good choice. But like, at what point is it missing too much, Nick, where he's not going to be able to have he'll have a season that he's proud of if he makes the best of what he can. But I mean, like, where is it like, wow, he was only able to play X amount. It wasn't a great year.
I mean, he's obviously, what do you consider a great year? If you missed the first half of the season, but then win every single tournament after that, you had a great season for the tournaments that you were able to play. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, realistically, it's going to get to a point where it's going to become impossible to win the Pro Tour points for this season, depending on how many events that he misses. Yeah. It's going to get to a point where it would be mathematically impossible for him to win the Pro Tour points. And I think that's a sacrifice he's willing to make so that he can play longevity-wise. Him pulling out with 3 holes to play, I'd love to actually get a comment about that from him to see what his mindset was. I would think with 3 holes to play at this point, he kind of just finished out the tournament, but maybe Gannon was right. Maybe he was outside the cash line, so no matter what, it really didn't affect him that much. But realistically, I think he's just taking it very, very slow to start the season. He probably came back prematurely with this event and then focusing on hopefully for the major that's happening in about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 3 to 4 weeks. And then we still have a long season. I mean, shoot, we're literally still within the first month. This is the 3rd Elite Series event out of 20 more or something like that with still all the majors to play. That's gonna
move us into our next topic, actually, kind of on that. Is there anyone we should be pumping the brakes on yet or pushing the pedal to the metal? And I'm going to go over some names here for you. But one last comment on what you said about if he was missing the cash, maybe it wouldn't have mattered either way. And I don't want to put words in Gannon's mouth, but maybe others interpreted it like me. it almost sounded like perspective was, well, he's outside of cash, so let's DNF. Like, so I don't have to miss cash. I don't know. I kind of read it that way from Gannon. I don't know if the chat agrees. They can comment and say they agree or disagree, but that was kind of what I read from Gannon's response. Not that Gannon's right, but there's different perspectives to be had, is how I'll put it. And I know, Nick, that you're dropping in and out right now.
I missed the end of what you had just said. Go say that one more time.
For our listening audience, so they can hear it twice. I was just saying, like, the perspectives could be either way, as in he was missing cash, so he dropped out. Like, so he doesn't have to have that be a part of his thing. Like, hey, I miss cash. So I'm just saying there's different ways. Gannon's perspective, it seemed to be that way. That's how I interpreted it. But there's others, I don't know. Some are saying agree. Some are saying maybe it's different. Some are saying disagree. So it could be either way. But we hope the best for Ricky. And I would never project that onto Ricky that he did that. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying there's different perspectives fans, players alike are going to have on that. We hope the best for Rick. Okay, this is a fun short one here, and then we'll close out with asking about players, pedal to the metal or pump the brakes. But the term chase card, I think that's a disc golf term. Correct me if I'm wrong. I tried looking it up for golf. I can't find it anywhere. Chase card, again, chat can fill us in. They're usually our most smart. The idea of chase card is just common sense, but in the case of disc golf, it's always been a thing where it's like, the reality is the next four behind the lead card are the only ones who could potentially even make the win. So they call it the chase. Mm-hmm. But the times are changing. We're starting to see back-to-back weeks now where there's multiple cards, 3, 4, 5 cards within a stroke or two where potentially that could happen. Where does this term chase card? Is it just going to always be chase card even if the ties go down 3 or 4 cards? Or is it just now like, hey, forget it. There's a lead card and then there's everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, they're the first ones chasing the lead card. It really doesn't matter about score either because they're still the card that is technically chasing the lead card.
But Nick, if you're tied though, if everyone's tied and there's a second and a third and a fourth card, they're all tied. Are they all chase card?
I don't know if you want to go like super far into it. I guess
I'm just saying like they're all the ones, right? And so here's where I'm kind of going with this. Jomez has missed the winner on their coverage now back-to-back events.
Yeah,
and I'm saying times are changing where I actually think this is going to become much more common. We're having a media company that only covers one card, especially if you think it's going to be the winner. It's not going to be that way. It will be that way a larger percentage of the time.
Yeah.
But is that how it works in golf? Like, does the lead card always win?
I mean, no, obviously not.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there's at least one time in golf where a chase card, third card, maybe even fourth card for golf. I don't really know because I don't watch a lot of golf tournaments, but we're also talking about post-production versus live production. There was a camera on Gannon or on that card for pretty much the whole round. Mm-hmm. Also being Paul McBeth was on the card. So having those two players in contention for the win on the final day pretty much forces the DGPT to put, or the Disc Golf Network to put a live camera on them the whole time. When it comes to the post-production, you have Company A, which is Jomez, covering the lead card, and then Company B, which I think is Gatekeeper, covering the chase card. So,
and my understanding,
great for Gatekeeper the last 2 weeks. But yeah, when it comes to the live action of it, this would have been the really, the big kick in the junk if we didn't have enough cameras to even really view the chase card. But we were able to watch almost every single one of Gannon's shot, which was awesome.
Everybody, Brody Smith in the chat. He says, oh, geez, Matt talking about golf, LOL. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's he can fill me in here. If there's a term chase card in golf and someone say, yeah, obviously that's what it is. But all I'm trying to say is when you have a company that's covering only a lead card, if they ever did that at the PGA level or anything else, you're going to miss. You're going to miss the winner a lot of times. I'm just giving credit to the fact that live coverage is where it's at right now. It's a great thing, as you said, Nick. I think for the sake of Jomez and others that are covering, they're not allowed to go grab others. So I'm not trying to downplay them. They're not allowed to move around and cover other cards. So it is what it is. But all I'm trying to say is there's going to be a deeper field going into these final rounds than we've had at any point ever. And we've already seen it back-to-back weeks.
For now, I'd call it chase card for now. And then if we get to that point, then we'll see what happens.
More terminology for in the future.
Well, it's definitely, it's definitely a chase card. Yeah. I'm just saying, I think we're going to start seeing this media conflict with people. Like, they're not going to be covering it the same way. Live will be the best way to watch it.
100%.
And it already is.
It already is, yeah.
And when you watch the post production for it, I'm sure in the final round, the back nine for the Jomez, they usually take the last hole. If I'm not sure, they get the rights from Gatekeeper. I think they kind of share it so that you can still see who won the tournament. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's been done in the past.
I've seen it in the past.
You know, this footage is courtesy of Gatekeeper Media, and then it actually showed like Kyle Klein winning Waco, now Gannon Burr winning the Open in Austin. I don't watch post production too much anymore, depending on kind of what my schedule is and all that. So that might not have happened for this tournament. But at the same time, this is just another case of where live disc golf is kind of just growing in a positive direction.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Brody. Anytime. Remember the old days? Brody, come on in. Let's talk. If we weren't already going 2 hours right now, I'd invite him in, but I'm actually traveling in the morning. And not that he would want to come in, but he has a much stronger opinion on golf than I would, of course. Mm-hmm. Although golf used to be my game before disc golf. That was the thing, man. I loved it.
You were a scratch golfer?
No. I was 22, 25 over, which is honestly, it's okay.
That's pretty good. I've been like 50.
Like it's like some holes I'd shoot like a 7 on a par 3, but like my best, absolute best, that was it. So no, not scratch. All right, so let's go ahead and go through some of the players here. Do we pump the brakes or do we push the pedal to the metal? Obviously, let's start with Gannon Burr. We're pretty much at the end of the show, but Gannon Burr, let's go around. Are we pumping the brakes or are we pushing the pedal to the metal? Meaning like we're all in, we think it's going to be this way the rest of the season out.
Like as in him doing well?
Yeah. Pedal to the metal for Gannon. For
huge
intern
Gannon
Ben.
fan.
Nick, what do you think? Yes?
Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
No concerns. Simon Lizotte.
Oh, he's pedal to the metal.
Yep.
He's playing great.
Yep.
James Proctor.
Oh, that I was
sneaky
talking
good right now. Sneaky good in this
Yes.
Texas swing. I'm very, very excited to see kind of once he hits, depending how much travel he's doing this year, I'm not really sure, but very excited to see him hit the major out in Georgia. And then as the month of May kind of rolls around, them getting out into the West Coast swing. But yeah, Sneaky Good has made some lead coverage cards and has made a name for himself this year, even more so than he has in the past, which we do have an episode with him. Look back in the archives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think it's a time to pump the brakes, but it's this interim period where like, do we press the pedal to the metal? But it seems like it.
Yeah,
I'm saying
I can
pump.
see it both ways.
I'll say pump for him, but I'm very impressed. I was talking to the owner of Thought Space at the Expo, and I was like, I'm very impressed with Aaron. I mean, the guy's name is Aaron, the owner, with James and how well he's been doing so far.
Yeah.
There's other names I could pick that would just be like, obviously, we're not going to pump the brakes. Paul Macbeth, Eagle McMahon. I think some of you might try to make an argument for both of those players. We're pumping the brakes, but that would be silly.
Yeah.
We're
I mean,
not.
lackluster final round for both of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, where is the headspace? I know Eagle had a lot of stuff going on mentally. Who knows how he was feeling mentally and emotionally with everything that kind of transpired throughout the weekend. But definitely Paul not starting off as strong as he has done in years past when it comes to tournaments right now. So who knows? That's kind of a toss-up right now.
Cole Redolin.
Also, I think kind of in that James Proctor position where Cole's a young gun, but even Gannon said it earlier, he has all the tools. He's just been needing to put it together. And I love watching Cole's play, and his putting stroke looks incredible right now. So I'm kind of on a, pedal to the metal.
I'll say gas too. Yep.
Okay. Nico LaCastro.
I'm more of a pump the brakes in the sense of I think he's a phenomenal player, but at the same time, I don't see him winning an Elite Series event this year. Now, could he casually stay in the top 10 or top 15 throughout the whole year? Absolutely.
Okay. Chris Dickerson.
Gas.
Yeah. I mean, Chris is coming up to Music City Open. That's in his home state of Tennessee. And then he's got the major that he just won, Champions Cup, right around the corner after that. I think this is a perfect time for Chris to pedal to the metal.
Okay.
Yes.
2 more in the MPO. Adam Hammis.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
I
The
don't
rest
know.
of the season, what's going to happen? It's tough to call, right?
He could go either or. Yep.
I think he's actually starting the season out very well. Great finish, obviously, at Waco being second place. I don't exactly remember how he finished at Austin. I do think he was in the top 20, but I think this is still the beginning of the season. We're finally getting into the full swing of things. We've seen Adam come down to a playoff at IGGC, so that's where Champions Cup is this year. I think this is a good time. Same thing, gas it up.
Okay. And then finally, Isaac Robinson.
I'd say
That's
gas. I believe in him.
Great season
You
last
believe
year.
in him, but
Starting out, yeah, I definitely believe in him. Same thing, and another player that has all the tools, has had success on the Pro Tour so far, but we haven't seen it so far this early in the season. So right now I think we're chilling, but I think middle of the season, when we get more towards those like heavily wooded golf areas, I think he's gonna be back in it.
okay. I'm gonna do this, and I have zero idea if he's still in the chat. He dropped a comment and didn't do any more. But Brody Smith, this is an interesting one. I will come out and say, impressive. Maybe he doesn't feel good about this last round or this last tournament, but I'm impressed. So I'm gonna say, if what we've seen already says anything, that he's gonna finish better than he has any other year. So I'm saying gas. He's a lot of off-season work. At least that's what he's showing, and we'll see. This was a new event for everybody, but I'm going to say gas. We'll see if it plays right, and we'll see where it goes from there. But
Same thing, has a skill set. He's putting himself out there. Started out really, really hot up at Waco with room for improvement, as almost any pro would say in their post-round interview, but not finishing out the tournament in a spot that he would want to. So same thing, though. He's got all the skill set. I think he is someone who is going to keep on creeping up until he finally really puts it together for one tournament.
okay. We're going to go over to FPO as we wrap up here. Paige Pierce, it's full gas.
Gas.
What I saw her face in that last round, as she even alluded to, was different. If she can bottle that up, she can take what she learned in the first event that she came back to Waco, and then she realized that she came back to Waco, didn't play how she wanted, figured some things out, and then won the next event. It's pretty good. Katrina Allen.
I mean, you have to say gas.
I think Katrina is playing phenomenal right now.
I agree.
Not the best finish at Waco when it comes to how, winning Vegas, not playing incredibly great over at Waco, but then second place finish here at Austin. I am a huge Katrina Allen fan. Very much looking forward to seeing how the season progresses. I'm gas 100% of the way.
Okay. This is what we do, guys. With Jessica Wees taking a third place here, I'm saying do not buy in right now. It's breaks right now. Let's wait a little bit and let's see what happens. Again, skill set's there, but we need to see some more. So breaks for now for me. Missy Gannon. We're only 3 events in, and I get it. We're only
Missy.
3 events in.
Yeah.
This is why it's, hey, are we pumping the brakes yet? Or are we saying let's just keep going?
No, Money Missy Gannon.
Okay, yeah, we're still in.
I'm same thing. Another huge Missy Gannon fan, and definitely think a couple wins throughout the year. I would say probably 1 or 2 of them this year, and she usually turns it on middle towards the end of the season. So right now you can kind of hold the brakes on it a little bit, but middle of the year, definitely gas.
Yeah. Let's go down a little bit more here. Evelina Salonen.
I'm brakes.
Pumping the brakes right now.
And I hope she would literally just take 3 months of only practicing putting so that we could hit that gas pedal again.
I know. It's
realistically,
what it is.
I mean,
It's pump the brakes right now.
God,
Pump the
such
brakes.
amazing skill when it comes to throwing the disc and then getting onto that putting green when the pressure is the highest, and just not having the success with it right now. But people helping her out with her putt, I think is going to pay huge dividends for her, and I'm excited to see. I think she's awesome to watch play disc golf, except for the putting aspect of it.
I think I have 3 more here. Kristen Tatar, it should be obvious. Gas. Okay. There's nothing to like. Ella Hansen.
Yeah.
I think that's gas too.
Gas,
Like,
baby.
When I say think, I should be more clear.
Yeah.
Like, it is gas. It's going to be new if she's constantly performing this high level. So like, but I'm gas.
Yeah.
I
I'm
love how
kind
we
of
went
like on that
Pedal to the metal.
from pedal to the
You know,
metal to now we
she's
just
hitting it hot right off the rip. She's playing great at the start of the season. I want to say pedal to the metal.
Yes.
So I would like to say that. That's how I'm going to leave it at that.
It's true. It went from pedal to metal to
I
gas.
like gas though.
Okay.
I like gas.
There's, let me see who else was on my list here. Okay, 2 more. Cat Merch.
Gas. Oh, I'm always gas for Cali.
I know you are. I think it's brakes. I got to see a lot more before I would say
Same.
go. Okay, and then finally, and there's a lot of names here, but Owen Scoggins, and I'm bringing her up because of what we already know. She has a track record. She started this season. Where are we at with her?
We've played 2 golf courses now and 1 wooded course, and I think the wooded course was her best finish. And so when we don't consistently play golf courses all the time, pedal to the metal, give it the gas.
Yes.
But when it comes to these more wide open, windier conditioned golf courses, I am pumping the brakes. I don't think Owen has the necessary distance and consistency with the distance. A lot of the times, especially when it's windy, we see those knife over forehands that kind of get burnt right into the ground for Owen. And then putting with her putting style is a little bit more difficult, I think, in the wind. I could be wrong, but that's just how I feel when I watch her play. But the courses where it's a little bit shorter, more woods are involved, I think that's when Owen she really thrives. But she has had incredible success on golf courses, don't get me wrong. But I think she thrives a little bit more on the wooded side of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there was a whole bunch of other names in here. Some people were shouting for Haley King or who else? There's a lot we're missing. But we're not going through every player. There's a lot
in the
of
FPO
gas.
field.
Yeah.
So anyways, interesting. That's where we're at with this year so far. We realize it's 3 events in. That's why it's kind of fun to say where are we at with it. And there's not a lot of information to say don't go gas on these things, but some of us said brakes on a few of them. So let's see what's happening here. I think there's other MPO players we would have said brakes on too, but we're not going to go through the whole list. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to the point in the show where we get to close it out, Nick.
And that's perfect because I'm about to shameless plug something.
Okay,
Anyways,
do it.
Everybody, if you like Discraft plastic, check out my new stamp with the Discura added into it. I'll try to give you guys the best view. This is a really beautiful pink and white swirled zone. And then this is also a really nice nuke that I got with a cool kind of shatter stamp on it. Anyways, if you go over to DiscuraDG.com and use code Nick and Matt, you can pick up one of these discs, and it's just about regular retail ESP prices. They're listed, I think, at $21. 10% code with Nick and Matt is going to get you a little bit off. If you want, go ahead on the website, order up some discs. And what I'll do for the next week of people ordering discs, I'm going to take 1 order out of that, and I'll throw in 2 extra discs just for you. Woo! So if you want, DiscuraDG.com. We also have some great apparel, new sweatshirts coming out almost every single couple of weeks. And then we also have some great jerseys up on the site as well.
Wow.
So check it out, DiscuraDG.com. 10% off your order with code Nick and Matt. But everyone, thank you for tuning in on this wonderful Monday night. This is episode 130 presented by Cosmic DG. Just want to thank Disc Golf Swag. Use code Nick and Matt at Disc Golf Swag for also 10% off your order there. And then Double G Craft Jerky for being amazing partners throughout the show. Cosmic DG. Check them out, especially if you're a tournament director. Once again, thank you everybody for tuning in on a Monday night. This was awesome. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Tell someone you love them this week. We'll catch you in the next one.
Intern Ben, what do you got?
I just want to give a quick shout out to Magna Dyes, Jesse. He created a die of me eating the Pocky 1 chip, and it is the best disc I've ever gotten. So I just want to give a quick shout out to that. Thank you, Jesse, for this awesome dad discs of me dying.
Wow. And shout out to everybody I met at the Northeast Disc Golf Expo. I really mean it when I say meeting you in person is why we do this.
Yes, it was awesome.
The people in the chat are real. I've met a lot of you though. If I don't know you, it is what it is, but let's meet someday. We do it for you, and we're happy to give you this 2 hours of content every week. Thank you guys for stopping by. Peace out.
The Nick and Matt Show, a disc golf podcast designed for you, the disc golfer. Find the Nick and Matt Show on your favorite podcast platforms or join the conversation live on YouTube.